the Alabama Crimson Tide. And hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Neal, along with my partner, Charles Davis. And you never want to really mess with a wounded dog, and that's basically what the Alabama Crimson Tide are right now, Charles. They're 3-6. They're coming off a tough loss to LSU, but everybody around the league tells you this is still a good football team with a lot of talent. Tough test for Mississippi State. Some of that talent for Alabama is in their running game. Really, their passing game is non-existent. They're last in the Southeastern Conference. But Alabama can run the football. Mississippi State will have to be able to stop them today.
And that's going to be the essence of this ball game, Dave. Alabama has an experienced offensive line, 3 guys with a lot of years of starting, and the running backs, they're the key to this ball game for Alabama. Ahmad Galloway, Brandon Myrie, a two-headed tandem, and they've done a great job so far this year. Galloway over 100 yards last week against LSU. But they will run against a very tough Mississippi State defense. We'll see here Ellis Wims, number 92, stripping Derek Watson of South Carolina earlier this year. Ball picked up by Mario Hagan. Look to the right of your screen. Fred Smoot. He's not just a cover corner, Dave. He'll throw a block, springs Mario Hagan for a touchdown. One of 7 touchdowns Mississippi State has scored on defense this year.
You got to love Fred Smoot, but you also got to love Mississippi State's running attack. There aren't 2 better backs in the conference, in the country perhaps, on the same team. They got them in Miller and Walker at Mississippi State.
Yeah, last year Jackie Sherrill was looking for 1 guy to emerge. He got 2, Dante Walker and DeCenzo Miller. DeCenzo Miller's working on 5 straight 100-yard games, but they will run against a tough Alabama defense too. The strength of this team, you see here earlier this year, stuffing Jared McGrath of Vanderbilt down near the goal line, and they can also run. Jackie Sherrill told us, you don't want to get into a track meet with Alabama because they'll run you down. Salim Rashid, their All-American linebacker. Here he is running down, a running back from Vandy.
Rashid is a good one. Alabama hoping to pull off the upset on the road, but Mississippi State's won 15 straight at Scott Field. Back in a moment.
By Buick and your local Buick dealers. And by Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Oh, is it a perfect day for some college football? It's a cool afternoon, not a cloud in the sky, and we got the Bulldogs and the Crimson Tide coming your way on JP Sports. The third member of our team today is Warren Pepper, and he's down on the sidelines. And Warren, I tell you what, this Bulldog team has been good at home, and so has their quarterback.
Boy, you know, well, they've got the 3rd longest home winning streak in the country here, but one of the reasons they are so good so recently is Wayne Matkin. The quarterback is 13-0 at home. He's 21-8 since becoming a starter, and now his 3rd year. But what Coach Jackie Sherrill says is best about him is that he's steady, and yes, he's improved, but he's no prima donna. Earlier this week, he said he had to rip Matkin during a practice session, and he said he ripped him in front of the team. But when he was finished, he said, "Wayne, do you understand?" And he said, "Yes, sir, Coach." He says the best part about him is that he's coachable. Jay?
Thank you very much, Warren. And certainly every game, Jackie Sherrill sees something better about his quarterback, Wayne Matkin. Jackie Sherrill, 10th year here at Mississippi State, 23rd overall, 170 and 91 and 4 as a 23-year head coach. And there's Mike DuBose. 2 more games to go as the Alabama head coach. 24 and 21, 16 and 14 in those 4 years in Southeastern Conference play. This is the 85th meeting between these 2 teams that are about 70 miles apart. Alabama will kick off. They won the toss but deferred, so Mississippi State will receive the football. Neil Thomas kickoff. Goes to pick Prather. Prather tries to get outside. Can't get the corner. Good coverage by Alabama. And Mississippi State will start at the 15. And here's how the Bulldog offensive team will look like. DeCenzo Miller at tailback. 5 straight 100-yard games. A school record for DeCenzo. Larry Huntington, great speed at the wide receiver position. Derek Thompson gets a start at right tackle. Kenrick Fairchild moves from right tackle to left tackle. Some injury to Porkchop Womack has kind of altered that lineup. But Michael Fair in the middle. We can say this, Mississippi State, he's the bell cow of that offensive line without Porkchop Womack in there. Wayne Matkin, of course, the quarterback. We heard about his success as the starting quarterback. And Scott Field quiets down on this first possession. Wide open. Tied in Donald Lee, and Donald Lee takes it out near the 30-yard line, actually to the 31. Marcus Spencer runs him out of bounds, a gain of 17. And here's how the Crimson Tide defense will look. A couple of injuries up front Kenny King will not be here today. He didn't make the trip over. Antoine Odom, Kenny Smith, Jared Johnson, and Aries Monroe will be the front four. Your linebackers, a good group this year. Victor Ellis has stepped in for Kendall Moorhead and played real well in the middle. And the secondary, a little bit banged up, but nonetheless, guys that are very good athletes. A little swing pass again to the far side. This to Cinzo Miller. Adam Cox brings him down, but a flag down at the point of the tackle. I said Victor Ellis filling in for the wrong injured player. Kendall Moorhead out for the year. It was actually Marvin Constant, who also has been hurt for the majority of this season. There's Wayne Madkin, referee today.
Back up, behind me.
Harold.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Repeat the down.
Harold Mitchell and crew.
Right.
So Charles, right away we've seen Mississippi State kind of conservative passing, but yet even despite the penalty, look like they're moving the football pretty well in that department.
Yeah, two good plays. Normally you think they're just going to come out and run at you. One misdirection, one swing pass to a back that was like a running play.
1st and 12. Handoff stop for not much gain. And we talked about how good these teams are in terms of A, running the ball, and B, stopping the run. And for Mississippi State, they come in averaging just shy of 200 yards a game as a team, 199.4, which is best in the Southeastern Conference. They've scored 22 rushing TDs. Bama's defense gives up 104 yards per game on the ground. That's 5th best in the conference. It's a good matchup tonight, this afternoon, to watch. Little today handoff. And Alabama's front four right there to Cinzo Miller. Stopped by Adam Cox.
Brings up our first 3rd down situation for the Alabama defense. They'll probably switch some personnel now. It gives them a chance to rush the passer. See here on the replay, the Alabama front line, a little delay play to Cinzo Miller, but they didn't really fool the guys up front and didn't fool the backers. Alabama closed it down. 3rd long for Mississippi State, first time this game.
5 defensive backs, 3 wideouts in the game. 3rd down and 8. Madkin hits his tight end, Donald Lee. Ball pops up, incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down. So what looked like a promising start for Mississippi State was really set back by the penalty that made it 1st down and 12, and they couldn't convert on 3rd and 8. So Alabama's defense holds, and they'll get the football in relatively good position.
They should have excellent field position, Dave. We talked with Sparky Woods, the offensive coordinator of Mississippi State, yesterday. He told us how important 1st down was. Gain yardage. Don't put yourself in long yardage situations.
Alabama has nobody back as Antonio Carter came up to block somebody. I guess they thought it was going to be a fake field goal, perhaps. And it was a bad punt with a good roll that goes dead at the 24-yard line. It ends up being a 45-yard punt. Kind of a weird deal going on. We'll check it out when we come back after a word from your local stations. Alabama, Mississippi State scoreless, 12:33 to go in the 1st quarter. As the Alabama Crimson Tide offense comes on to take over possession, their first time of the game at the 24-yard line. Andrew Zhao, the quarterback. Quick pitch. Nowhere. Ahmad Galloway stopped for maybe a loss of 2. Connor Stevens on the stop. Alabama's offense looks like this. Galloway, your tailback. McClintock, suspended for the first half of the game last week due to a fight that occurred the week before, is back in the starting lineup. Collins, Carter at your wideout spots. We'll see a lot of players come and go for Alabama. And there's the offensive line. Lennox Baxley not here. He's suspended for violation of team rules. Andrew Zhao, your quarterback, not a great year. Andrew Zhao will be the first one to tell you. Hopes today maybe one that will get it going. Running game, Galloway, stopped by Galladay. And here's that State defense. An injury to Ellis Wims means they'll go from a 4-man front to a 3-man front and add a linebacker. Dorsett, Davis, Galladay as well. Guys up there that are very talented. Rob Knight, Mario Hagan, Connor Stevens. And you're not going to find a more complete package in a secondary than these guys. Prather, Clinton, Roberson, Morgan, and Smoot. 3rd and 10. Crowd on their feet. Zhao going deep. Has a man. McCadley. He's got it. Jason McCadley on 3rd down and 10 comes up with a great grab and a nice throw from Andrew Zhao. Fred Smoot is the man they beat. A gain of 51.
And that's the perfect segue, Dave. Fred Smoot is the guy they beat. A pump fake from Zhao on the rollout. He had plenty of time, and then he threw it up over the top of Fred Smoot. For a second there, I thought Smoot was going to be able to sink back deep enough to knock it away, but he wasn't able to. And this has got to do a world of confidence for Andrew Zhao. Look how excited he is getting that first pass completed.
Nice pass and catch from Alabama. They're in business at the 25. Galloway off left tackle. Inside the 20. Morgan and Hagan on the stop for Mississippi State.
Dave, you notice right away now, the first couple of running plays for Alabama, Mississippi State ran them down. The play went wide, they ran it down. They went inside, they stuffed them. After the long pass, they had to loosen up just a little bit. That time, Galloway was able to get positive yardage.
Look at the Crimson Tide inside the red zone. They haven't been there a whole lot, but when they are there, they're pretty successful. Dustin McClintock, nowhere. This Mississippi State defense has been torched a couple of times this year, but seem to have gotten it back together after last week's performance against Kentucky when they forced 7 turnovers. It was Jared Lorenzen's worst game as a Kentucky quarterback. They held the Wildcats to 12 rushes, 10 yards. I mean, they just put on a performance. And Jackie Sherrill, who's not one to really gloat about his team, even he had a smile about his team's performance last week.
Yeah, he was pretty pleased with what they did. Said they didn't play well against Middle Tennessee State in the non-conference game, but they came back with a vengeance last week in Lexington.
Terry Jones, couple of tight ends. Zhao fumbles the football. Excuse me, Freddie Millens.
Dave, they went with their package, their special package for Freddie Millens, the wide receiver. We talked a little bit about that with Neil Callaway earlier this week about whether they'd have that package in. They hadn't been running it much lately. They tried it out early. Freddie Millens back home in Starkville.
So here comes Neil Thomas, 9 of 11. This one from 39 yards. The kick is up, and he missed it. Neil Thomas has been pretty consistent this year, and Alabama has an opportunity to strike first. But Mississippi State finds a way to stop him. The big play was the Zhao to McCadley, 51-yarder that set him up at the 25-yard line, and you come away with no points.
And all you can say to yourself is, what a waste. They pulled out a big play early, getting it over the top of Fred Smoot, the All-American cornerback, who we spotlighted in our pregame show, one of the best in the business. Get down inside the 20, and almost inside the 20, come away with nothing. A real waste for Alabama.
So the Bulldogs will have it for the second time at the 20. Miller, couple on the play. Jared Johnson on the stop. Jared Johnson, one of those guys who was started the year on the inside, but then moved outside when Kendall Moorhead got hurt. Losing Moorhead, huge loss for this football team in Alabama. I don't even know that they really have recouped from that loss.
No, they really haven't. Kendall Moorhead was one of the keys to their defensive line, and all the shuffling that's occurred since then has really hurt Alabama's effectiveness.
Madkin, wide open at the 40. Larry Huntington down to the 20. Stopped at the 18-yard line. A gain of 58 yards. Milo Lewis and Tony Dixon finally bring him down, and there's the sign of what Larry Huntington can do with that 4.3 speed.
Yes, and he's averaging over 18 yards a reception thus far this year. This will up the average a little bit. Wayne Madkin, excellent protection, sets up strong in the pocket and delivers a strike on a long post pattern. Beats Milo Lewis, number 21, the corner, and Tony Dixon, number 24, the free safety, unable to get over in coverage. Big play for State.
Tony Dixon playing with a bruised sternum. Nice play action from Madkin. He'll run it. Madkin spins his way down to about the 12.5. Marcus Spencer hangs with him. And that is a play that Jackie Sherrill wouldn't mind seeing Wayne Madkin do a little bit more.
Yeah, he'd love to see him use his legs. And frankly, Dave, I think he should have hit it earlier. I think he came out and took too long making up his mind on whether to go to the one receiver pattern, which he had out to the wide side of the field, or take it and run it. If he took it and just took off and ran, a lot more yardage was there for him.
Mississippi State inside the red zone. Madkin rushing has improved every year. He was minus 36 in 98. This year he's plus 166. There's a handoff to Senzo Miller. Touchdown, Mississippi State. The 9th touchdown run from DeCenzo Miller. And the Bulldogs are trying to make it 7-0 with the point after pending. Scott Westerfield on. It is perfect, and Mississippi State takes advantage of Alabama not being able to strike when they had a chance. They come back, and it's DeCenzo Miller with the touchdown run. Back after a word from your local stations. Jackie Sherrill's Mississippi State Bulldogs still in the race for the Western Division crown, off to a good start. 7-0, they lead Alabama. And this place has already seen 2 record crowds this season, this place being Scott Field. Maybe you'll see a third this year. And there's the drive, only 4 plays. Big one was the 58-yard pass to Larry Huntington from Wayne Madkin, and then DeCenzo Miller goes 12 yards untouched up the middle, and that's where we stand. Loose football picked up by Arvin Richard. Arvin, the career leader in return yards at Alabama, adds a couple of yards, but only 11. Alabama has it at the 23-yard line. Jason Clark on the special teams tackle. Charles, here's that touchdown.
Focus on the offensive line, Dave. Up front, just pounded people. Kendrick Fairchild, number 77, a great block coming down from the tackle position. And who says wide receivers don't block? Number 8, Justin Griffin in the secondary. A big block on the defensive back. Untouched DeCenzo Miller into the end zone. A huge line from Mississippi State, Dave. I expect them to impose their will as the game goes on.
Had a flag down on the kickoff, offsides against Mississippi State. So we're deciding on what Alabama will want to do with that. It looks as though
offside, 5-yard penalty, repeat the kick.
So they will kick it over once again and try to get better field position. Alabama's got some good return guys when you consider Carter can return kicks, Millens, Richard, Chantu Ray. Mike DeBose's team, just nothing's gone right. The games that they've lost this year are the games they won last year. And when I asked him about that, you know, he basically just said it's hard to figure out. You know, they've had their chances, they've had their opportunities, they just haven't been able to close the deal when they've had a chance. Here's what Alabama has faced, and they've lost 3 in a row, but the big one in that whole big picture is Central Florida, October 28th in Tuscaloosa on homecoming. They fell behind and never regrouped. 10-0 early in the first quarter, and that pretty much sealed the deal for Mike DeBose. Here we go. We'll try it again. This kick comes down at the 14. Arvin Richard again will try to add to some more yards. Arvin zigzagging his way across the 30. So a return of 20 gives Alabama about 10-yard advantage from the previous kick. Jamal Dinkins on the special team tackles for the Bulldogs.
Alabama, we talked before, they were unable to take advantage of the big pass last series from Zhao to McAdley. They don't want to go take advantage of it. Mississippi State took advantage of theirs. Madkin to Huntington scored a touchdown. Alabama has to answer now, but they must have patience, Dave. Can't get away from their game plan this early in the game.
Andrew Zhao, the junior from Lake Butler, Florida, under center. Flag is down. Looks like Dante Ellington, big number 65, might have jumped the gun. There's big Dante, 6'6", 350 pounds.
Dead ball. Movement on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Left side of the screen, firing out. Looked like Ellington. Was that Ellington on the side there, or Griff Redmill, the left guard? But, you know, as big as those guys are, Dave, when they fire out a little bit early, you're definitely going to see them.
First down.
Griff Redmill, the left guard on the play. He's 315 himself, 305? He's not tiny.
1st and 15. Here's Galloway, cuts it back and, well, cut it right into the heart of that defense. Hagan kind of forced him back. And this defense will get after it today. Hagan, 6'3", 255. A guy that's just gotten after it all season for Mississippi State.
Yeah, he was supposed to play defensive end, but he lost a lot of weight and got his quickness back. He had eaten his way into a defensive end slot, got up to 275. He's back down to 250. Pick Prather, number 29, the former free safety, actually running back when he came to Mississippi State. Free safety, now the dog safety. He helped clean up the play. I'm sorry, Dave, hard to run laterally against Mississippi State.
2nd down and 14. Zhao, all the time in the world, goes up top again. Overthrows his receiver big time. He was looking for Antonio Carter. Fred Smoot was there.
Good coverage in the secondary by Mississippi State. Pick Prather covering in the man-to-man spot. Fred Smoot had his guy locked down, and that's very disappointing for Alabama because of this reason, Dave. They actually picked up the blitz of Mississippi State, and they picked that up. That should give the quarterback time to throw the ball. It did, but they were unable to complete the pass. Good coverage by the secondary of State.
Here we go, 3rd down and 14 for the Tide. Spread formation. Zhao steps up in the pocket, lets it fly to the 35. It's Jason McAdley, but he's well short of the 1st down. Needed to get to the 43 and is stopped right about the 35, and that'll bring up a punting situation for Alabama.
Another blitz by Mississippi State, again picked up by Alabama. The offensive line and the backs are doing a good job picking up the blitzers and giving Zhao time to throw. But on 3rd and 14, you've got to throw the ball downfield. You can't throw a shorter pattern and hope they're going to miss a bunch of tackles. One tackle was missed, but then Smoot came back and made the tackle and dropped him in his tracks.
Lane Bearden to punt it away to Larry Huntington. Larry averaging about 10 yards per return. Good high kick. Drives Huntington back to the 24. And Huntington stopped. They'll mark his forward progress to the 28-yard line. Victor Ellis leading the charges on the special teams. A 41-yard punt, 3-yard return. It's Mississippi State by 7. We'll be back to Starkville after a message from Advanced Auto Parts. Fans, this weekend is your last chance to enter the Piccadilly TV Crew Sweepstakes, so visit any Piccadilly cafeteria and register today. Mississippi State 7, Alabama nothing. Joe Lee Dunn said his defense playing better after that wacky couple of games when they gave up a ton of points and a ton of yards. Dante Walker gets his first carry of the day. This combination has gone for 100 yards apiece. Walker and Miller 3 times this year.
And DeCenzo Miller's working on a streak of 5 straight 100-yard games. Dante Walker, many people thought he would be the featured back this year. DeCenzo Miller worked hard in the offseason to beat him out. But boy, what a great two-headed tandem they are.
Last week, Miller and Walker went for over 100. Walker had 101 on 15 carries and a touchdown. Walker gets the corner. Only a gain of 4. Will still be shy of the first down by a couple of yards. Tennessee jumping all over Arkansas early on. Arkansas is going to have to find a way to slow down Tennessee, or that could get ugly in a hurry. Pittsburgh over Miami in the second.
A mild surprise for a lot of people, but the Panthers have played well this year. Every game they've lost has been a close one. North Carolina lost a real tough one a couple weeks ago to Virginia Tech.
3rd and 2. They've got the first down and then some. Across the 40 goes Walker to the 42, brought down by Tony Dixon. Missed tackle by Marcus Spencer gave him the opportunity for that first down.
Tough part for Alabama is they're so beat up front, Dave. It's hard to hold the point of attack. Missed tackle by number 41, Marcus Spencer, the strong safety, who they brought up close to the line. See him fill in the gap. You see him slide down, misses the tackle right there. Dante Walker keeping the legs driving before he's brought down in the secondary. If you can get through that first wall, there's a lot of space between that and the next wave of guys who have a chance to tackle the tailback.
It looked as though maybe Spencer thought maybe the cutback, which would have been Miller, but it was Walker instead, and Walker will run right through you. Here goes Madkin, and wide open is his man, Clarence Parker, inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. A gain of 30. And how are they getting so open?
Well, part of what's happening is that they're protecting Wayne Madkin very well. And then the secondary of Alabama has had a tough time all year. It's a misdirection play, and everyone thinks the action is going to one side of the field. He throws back all the way against the grain. Number 1, Clarence Parker, able to get free. You see the coverage here. Adam Cox, number 31, loses him out of the zone. He's wide open at that point. And now Milo Lewis has to come over and make the tackle, but it's way too late. Great arm strength by Wayne Madkin, Dave, to throw all the way back across the field on the misdirection play.
Madkin's 4 of 5 for 112 yards. Here comes some pressure from the outside. Missed tackle. Madkin still on his feet, but a flag down. Madkin falls down at the 20-yard line. Aries Monroe on the pressure, but missed Madkin. Be holding against Mississippi State. The Bulldogs are the most penalized team in the conference, averaging almost 10 penalties per game, giving up 85 yards in that department.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
Maybe that's how they're getting so open, Dave.
Yeah.
You know, you hold in the offensive line, gives your quarterback a little more time. Although on that play, Madkin was flushed immediately and had to make the play on his own. The holding occurred on the other side of the line.
3rd penalty today for 25 yards against Mississippi State. Alabama not much better in that department. They're 11th in the league. They have had 74 penalties this year.
And 26.
Something they'd like to correct as they go down the stretch, trying to drive towards an SEC West title.
First down and 26 now. Little screen pass. Sets up well for Justin Griffith, but he's tripped up on a very, very nice play by Milo Lewis.
And boy, it was good. It was good that he made that play, Dave. Milo Lewis doesn't make this tackle. Justin Griffith has a lot of room to ramble. Nice screen pass set up by Mississippi State. Faked it to the right, came back to the left. Justin Griffith, who's their most versatile back because he can play fullback and tailback, and he's great at catching the football out of the backfield.
That's one of those plays where you hope your guy can beat one of their guys, and then it's 6.
Exactly. If you can make a one-on-one move and beat him, then you've got a chance. Milo Lewis made the play for Alabama.
Now it's 2nd and 22 from the 40. Madkin has all kinds of daylight. Brings it to the outside. Madkin inside the 20. About a yard shy of the first down marker. A gain of 21 for Wayne Madkin.
Picked up a nice block in the secondary from Terrell Grindle, number 15, on Milo Lewis, number 21 from Alabama. That helped spring him. It was a robber coverage for Alabama. Right in the middle, Marcus Spencer, number 41, took away the pattern that Madkin wanted to throw to Clarence Parker. He pulled it down, used his legs, as Jackie Sherrill wanted, to the top of your screen. Number 15, Grindle, just enough on Lewis to give Madkin a chance to pick up additional yardage.
Mississippi State really doesn't have a star wide receiver. That's by committee for them, and it's worked pretty well. third and short. Kenny Smith jumps the gun. First down, Mississippi State, but we'll wait for the official word.
One thing I have noticed early, Dave, is that there have been a lot of skirmishes between the O-line and the D-line. I'm not talking about after the ball snap, but post-snap and pre-snap. These guys have been really jawing at each other. Might have had Kenny Smith so wound up, he wanted to jump on that play and really make one.
Kenny Smith has been a warrior for the Tide up front all season long. First and 10. Walker. It's amazing. Hopefully you can hear at home the crowd here. It is so quiet when Mississippi State has the football, and then you can't hear anything when Alabama has the football.
Well, that's what you call a good home crowd. Well educated after 10 years here under Jackie Sherrill. He's taught them how to really cheer here. Make sure our offense can hear so they can do the audibles and the checks, get our personnel in the game, and then on defense, make it as loud as possible here at Scott Field.
Far side officials blow the whistle, stop the clock for a moment. Harold Mitchell making his way back, and we will play ball. Second down and 9. Short hopped it to Grindle. Wayne would love to have that back. And that'll bring up third down.
Play seemed to be well defensed though, Dave. Number 4 on the coverage there for Alabama, Gerald Dixon. Seemed to have that play really locked up, even if the ball had gotten there. But it would have been a one-on-one tackle, which is what you're trying to create on that quick screen to a wide receiver. You're hoping that as you said earlier, your guy can make that one-on-one move and make him miss.
DeCenzo Miller checks back in. He's second on the team in receptions with 17 this year. On third down and 9. Here comes some pressure from Alabama. Matkin unloads it quickly. Touchdown to DeCenzo Miller. 13 yards.
Blitz came on the play from Alabama. DeCenzo Miller slipped through the middle of the defense. Appeared there, Reggie Miles had the coverage on him, was unable to get to him. Easy touchdown pass for Wayne Matkin to Miller.
Scott Westerfield with the point after. That is up. That is good. And that makes the score 14-0 Mississippi State. A balanced attack so far has caused problems for Alabama. And they lead it 14-0. For DeCenzo Miller, it's his second receiving touchdown.
DeCenzo Miller to the left side of the screen, Dave, on the touchdown. Ran a little option route to the outside. I think Reggie Miles, number 23, guessed wrong. He thought DeCenzo Miller was going to cut to the outside. Went inside, easy one. Mississippi State celebrating in the end zone, their second touchdown of the game. And Dave, you and I have talked about this a little bit, and a lot of other people have around the country. How does Alabama respond knowing that Mike DuBose is gone at the end of the year? How will they respond in game? We're going to find out a lot now, being down two quick touchdowns.
The drive goes 10 plays, 72 yards. On a 2nd and 22, Wayne Matkin scrambled for 21 yards and left a 3rd and 1 situation. They were able to pick up the first down, and that was pretty much the key play, I believe, in that drive.
It was, and the tough part for Alabama was that they defended that play very well, except for the one guy that they couldn't account for, and that was the quarterback Matkin using his legs instead of his arm. They went to a robber coverage with the free safety. He slid into the play, made Matkin pull it down, but Matkin used his feet to get out of trouble.
Can't overlook the penalty on 3rd and 1.
Yeah, that doesn't help at all.
John Michael Marlin kicks off for Mississippi State. At the 12, it's Arvin Richard. And he is met at the 25, a return of 12. Edward Yates on the stop. Well, just for voting, Jim Driver from Bowling Green, Kentucky is this week's winner in the Sleep In Team of the Century balloting on jpsports.com. He won 2 free nights at any Sleep In and is entered to win a grand prize drawing for 7 nights at any Sleep In. The Sleep In Team of the Century and the grand prize winner will be announced next Saturday. Congratulations to Jim.
We're not eligible for that, are we, Dave?
That's what they tell me.
We'll register it anyway, though, right?
The pitch to Brandon Myree. Myree really hits that hole in a hurry. Let's check in with Warren Pepper. Warren, what do you got?
Well, when Jackie Sherrill hired defensive coordinator Jolie Dunn, he said he wanted somebody who would not be a robot. Now, he's everything but that. Nobody knows what he's going to do next defensively, and that's kind of the magic of their success. He just wants to put athletes in position to react.
That's exactly what they've done today. You see the 3-man front. The injury to Ellis Wims. They've gone from a 4-man front to a 3-man front and added 1 more linebacker. Myree met in the hole. Mario Hagan, the first man to meet him right in the hole, and that was a major collision between Hagan and Myree.
Yeah, Mario Hagan, supposed to be playing defensive end, said, I want to stand up play linebacker, so lost 25 pounds, and he's playing it with a vengeance. Has had a big year for Mississippi State. Great point by Ewan Warren, though, by Jolie Dunn. Doesn't want robots, and putting a linebacker on the field just made that defense faster today, Dave.
And that's what they were concerned with, the speed that Alabama could bring to the football field. They didn't know that they could keep up with them in a track meet.
So far, they're doing that very well.
3rd and 4. Listen to this crowd. That goes incomplete, intended for Freddie Millens. Flag down deep into the Mississippi State secondary, so hold everything.
Holding on the defense. The 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Charles, that might be the break to jumpstart Alabama.
And they desperately needed it, because if they were going 3 and out on that play, and Mississippi State with this crowd really into it, getting the ball again, you're right. Now Alabama has to capitalize and hold the ball for a little while. Run the football, throw safe passes. They need to make some first downs.
The first down and 10 from the 40. Little pitch to Myree. He'll cut it back. He had plenty of room over here, and Andrew Zhao, his quarterback, was hoping he could keep coming because he had plenty of room on the right side. Dorsett Davis finally cuts him down. That's the end of the first quarter. The Bulldogs lead it 14-0. Welcome back to Mississippi State, where they lead Alabama 14-0. We begin the second quarter. Quickly, Zhao rolls right, has a man. Nice play. Sam Collins. That's a first down for Alabama. Gain of 11. Here's a look at our Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse first quarter stats. Mississippi State with 61 rushing yards, 129 yards through the air. That's just dominance.
Yeah, it is. Alabama passing yards at 57. We get 51 on one play.
Brandon Myree across the 50 into Mississippi State territory. Andrew Zhao lost his starting job to Tyler Watts, who is out for the remainder of the season after blowing out a knee. Has been the starter the last 3 games. His numbers are actually better coming off the bench when you look at the percentages than they are as a starting quarterback this year. And I think Andrew is probably as frustrated as anybody at Alabama. He thought this was going to be a breakout season for him that just didn't pan out the way he thought. Now has some time, a little rollout, good coverage. Lofts it up in the air, nearly picked off by Eugene Clinton. Dangerous pass by Andrew.
Yeah, to float it that far downfield, very, very difficult to do. The tough part for Andrew Zhao is on misdirection plays. You expect someone to come open because you expect the receiver to get lost, what they call in the wash, cutting across from one side of the field to the other. They run through traffic. You almost hope defenders get picked off. Didn't happen. Mississippi State sucked them down.
Is that correct?
Is that not a typo?
I've been told from the truck that is correct.
That Arkansas-Tennessee game is usually oh so tight. Not today thus far.
My partner, usually up here with me, Dave Rowe, having to bite the bullet today, it looks like. Third down, Zhao all day, goes up top, looking deep. A lot of banging going on, no flag. Fred Smoot on the coverage. Herschel Bolden, the intended receiver.
You know why I'm laughing, Dave? You know why I'm laughing? It's one thing to get one of them over him, get that early. You might not want to be too greedy going at number 2. If you're going to throw at him, make sure it's a little bit safer. You throw the out patterns, show a guy trying to push deep, throw the out, but you might not want to throw it deep against him very often.
Huntington back to return the punt. A punt of 41, a return of 7. Mississippi State will have it at the 15. Wayne Madkin has really put together a pretty good string today, throwing it and running it.
They see him making Aries Monroe, number 22, miss. Now directing Dante Walker, number 3, on the block, cutting it inside. Here's another example of standing strong in the pocket and showing arm strength, throwing back across the field to Clarence Parker. That takes a big arm to throw, folks. And then here, using the legs in a key situation, running into a first down for Mississippi State. A big day thus far for Wayne Madkin.
Handoff goes to Dante Walker. It's about 6 or 7 on the play. Remember this Mississippi State offensive line having to go without perhaps one of the top 2 or 3 tackles in the entire country in Porkchop Womack, who has a rod placed in his leg, and they think there's a chance he might be back for the Mississippi State game. And they were concerned about that, but today it looks like this line's playing pretty good.
Well, it's a good offensive line without Porkchop Womack. It's a great one when he's in the lineup.
Another big hole. Flag down, maybe that's the reason.
We talked about that before. Holding on pass patterns helps you get more time to complete them. See what they call here.
That hole was just a little too big.
Even for this offensive line.
They'll move him back 10.
That look on Mike DuBose's face still says it all, though, doesn't it, Dave? What do we do?
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
But what I'm seeing right now from the offensive line, despite the hold there, is they're starting to assert their dominance over Alabama's defensive front. And even in this situation, to be 2nd and long for Mississippi State, don't be surprised to see him come back with another running play. The offensive line is really firing out now. As coaches say, getting a hat on a hat, which is a soft term for you better get inside your guy and dominate him. And that's what Mississippi State's doing up front.
Ball moves back to the original line of scrimmage after they assess the penalty from the spot of the hold. So it'll bring up 2nd down and 9.5 maybe. Has his receiver Huntington open, and that'll be good enough for a first down as they pick up 17 on that play.
Came out 2-back set, open set. Madkin back in the pocket, looking more and more mature in the pocket, isn't he, Dave? You've watched him for 3 years now. We're seeing him really continue to grow as a quarterback. On the money with the throw on the out route to Larry Huntington. Led it perfectly. Nice route, nice throw.
Wayne Madkin spent most of the summer trying to get physically better. And that's what he did. He reduced his body fat, got a lot stronger, and maybe it's paying off for him here in his junior campaign. Slings it out. Dante Walker, the 225-pounder, shows us he's got a couple of moves as well. Run out of bounds about 2 yards shy of the first down. Dixon finally runs him out of bounds. And let's check in once again with Warren Pepper.
Dave, I asked Sparky Woods, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, if there's a chance that his offense this year, which is, by the way, second in the league in scoring, is better because of the defense they play against all week long in practice. He said absolutely. He said some of their best days of the week are on Saturdays.
Yeah, they lose most of the time during the week.
Sparky said spring practice is pretty rough for the offense.
It's hard to get a game plan.
Yeah, he said, got a game plan practice. That's tough to do.
Nobody coaches a game plan practice. Nothing doing. Alabama steps up. Dante Walker on the coverage. Plenty of chatter about these two teams. Like we mentioned, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you do know, it's only an hour and 15-minute drive from Tuscaloosa over here to Starkville. So a lot of these guys have seen each other and played against each other. And
summer camps together, play against each other in high school, junior college system in Mississippi. These guys all know each other well.
Freddie Millens, of course, from right here in Starkville. 3rd down and 3. Madkin lets it go up top. Great catch down to the 30-yard line. It's Justin Jenkins. And a flag down at midfield. A gain of 31, but it could be a hold against the defense. We'll see what Harold Mitchell has to say. There you go.
And it was on the guy who caught the ball, Dave. You know, getting that ball downfield to Justin Jenkins. Right there, Kelf Bailey, number 13, got a hold of him the whole way, still grabbing him going down with the inside arm. Excellent concentration by Justin Jenkins in staying with the route, concentrating on the ball, and how perfectly was that ball placed by Madkin, Dave?
Madkin off to what could be a career afternoon.
What was the most yards he had thrown for in a game? We talked about that yesterday. 257 in a ball game in his career.
And it's hard to believe when you see how many games he's played. You thought he would have had at least a 300-yarder somewhere in there. Oh, nice play, good recovery. Tony Dixon came over, got a hand on it, and nearly had the interception. Grindle looked like it slipped behind that defense.
And he had. Here's the issue. Watch Grindle, number 15. If he stays straight upfield, they've got a touchdown. But see how he came inside? And the ball, you know, where Wayne Madkin had delivered the ball, that allowed Tony Dixon, number 24, the free safety, to melt off the hash, as they say, to move away from his normal coverage into deeper coverage, and they ran right into it on that play. He stays straight, it's a touchdown.
That is correct. 2:57 to 79. 3 wideouts on 2nd and 10. From the tie 30. Little pitch. Walker gets strung out by that defense in a nice play. He wanted a face mask, did Walker. Won't get it. Marcus Spencer was not about to let Walker turn the corner.
No, he didn't miss this tackle, and it was a busted offensive assignment. The fullback's supposed to lead on that play, Dave. It's called a lead option. The fullback in this case went left. The play went right. That left Dante Walker naked out there. No lead blocker on the option. That allowed Spencer to make the play a lot easier.
Spencer had 16 tackles against UCF. Wayne Madkin will call a timeout on 3rd down and 10. Mississippi State leads it 14-0. We'll be back after a message from Alltel. Mississippi State leads Alabama 14-0. 4 wide receivers on 3rd down and 10. Madkin took the timeout. Jackie Sherrill gave him a nice little round of applause. He really wants to score one here.
They'd like to really put a big blow into Alabama here. It looks like man coverage in the secondary, Dave.
Bobbled snap. That'll ruin every play. Alabama gets a stop and takes him right out of field goal range as well. You call a timeout and you get a bad snap. And that's really one of the rare mistakes from their center, Michael Fair, who Coach Sherrill was raving about yesterday.
Yeah, he's not going to make very many, and when you put it on the ground like that and make your quarterback have to double clutch, it allows the pass rush to become pretty good for Alabama. Brooks Daniels, number 88, Kenny Smith, they're able to get inside and make the sack.
Prentice Cole to punt for Mississippi State. Antonio Carter's back and stays back this time. A high spiral. Fair catch called at the 15, and that's where Alabama will take over. 25-yard punt, and of course nothing on the return. Payne Weber presents the SEC Good Works team, recognizing superior community service efforts. Today's honoree is senior place kicker Scott Westerfield from Mississippi State University. Scott is a positive role model for kids in the Starkville area, speaking at local elementary schools and giving his time as a kicking instructor. He is also a volunteer for Habitat for Humanity and a tutor for fellow students. Payne Weber is proud to salute Scott Westerfield for being named a member of the SEC Good Works team. Thank you, Payne Weber. Off, takes it to the 20, does Brandon Myree. How about Sean Bohannon, number 28, has been kind of lost in the whole shuffle. He got the start against UCLA and just...
Yeah, and Sean didn't help himself in the offseason either, Dave. Remember, he came back, was late to a conditioning run, you know, lost his starting job there, worked his way back, got the start against against UCLA. I think he put 2 balls on the ground that day, fumbled twice, and from that day on has really lost his spot. The tailback had to move to fullback in order to try and get on the field.
Here's Myree, the redshirt freshman, pounding his way close to the 25. They need to get to the 25 and a half. If they make the 26, it's a first down. And that'll bring up 3rd down and a couple.
And have you noticed the best plays for Alabama are the plays that don't go too far laterally? You can start that way, but you need to cut it up inside and run hard. That's what Brandon Myree has been doing, running real hard at Mississippi State's defense. Don't allow their speed to run you down.
Mario Hagan comes up and makes another play. He has 5 tackles already with 8:14 to go in the second quarter.
Very difficult to run that play, Dave, and here's why. Mississippi State's defense is always going to have 8 guys in the box anyway. You see how they approach the line of scrimmage, and they come right now. And so unless you block everyone, and number 29, Pick Prather, able to get into the backfield, you'll see him at the top of your screen. He's on the ground. He trips him up initially. You have to be able to block everyone. In that situation, Alabama was not able to do so.
3 and out for Mike DuBose. Can't have too many of those. Here's punt on the way. Larry Huntington back at the 27. Larry Huntington to the 40. So a good return after a punt of 48 yards. Huntington picks up 15 on the return. Victor Ellis with the stop on the special teams. So Mississippi State with good field position. They still lead by 2 touchdowns. Back after a word from your local stations. Mississippi State with a couple of touchdowns lead Alabama 14-0. 7.5 to go before intermission. DeCenzo Miller in at tailback for Mississippi State, but they'll throw it on first down and complete the pass to Terrell Grindle. A gain of 11. You know, we've talked about this Mississippi State receiving corps and how there's really no star. Grindle's got 22 receptions. Huntington has 14. Their second leading receiver is DeCenzo Miller. But Charles, when you look at these guys, you like their athletic ability, their speed. They got a good group.
They've got an excellent group, and the tough part for Jackie Sherrill and receivers coach Craig Stump is how do we get them all on the field and how do we get them all enough playing time? Sometimes you want to just get guys out there, let them set up their routes and come back to them later, but they have so many guys that can play, it's tough for them to stop it.
How about a little halfback toss, nobody home, and a flag down at the 40.
Unbelievable, because Terrell Grindle was wide open on the backside of that play. I'm not sure where that play was supposed to go, but I'm surprised that DeCenzo Miller wasn't finding him. He was so open, he may have got lost there.
Illegal man downfield. That'll move him back.
Happens a lot on slow developing plays, Dave. Sometimes the lineman drifts downfield trying to hold their block at the point of attack.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
6 penalties, 55 yards today against Mississippi State. We talked about the receiver corps, Wayne Madkin and whatnot, but Charles, he's hit 8 different receivers today already. That's just how deep they are at that wide receiver spot. And they got 5 of those receivers in the game right now.
Wow, deep at that position, and Wayne Madkin's maturity going to different guys.
Miller, how about a little double pass? They'll throw a flag at midfield. They wanted the flag on the coverage by Tony Dixon, but they're going to get a flag back at the line of scrimmage.
Might center on whether it was actually a lateral out to DeCenzo Miller or not for the second pass. If it wasn't a lateral, then it's an illegal forward pass.
Pass might have gone forward to Miller. We'll see.
Yep, that's the call.
Well, this little DeCenzo Miller playing quarterback sequence hadn't exactly gone as planned.
No, not quite as planned. Wayne Madkin.
Yeah, that was 2 yards forward pass to Miller.
That's more the swing pass they throw to Miller out of the backfield rather than the lateral pass. You have to know where you are on the field and know where where the ball's supposed to be and where you need to be in order to set up that play. But 2 straight trick plays in a row by Jackie Sherrill. You know what they say about trick plays, Dave? Fire yours first before the other team does. The UL will be element of surprise that way.
Well, on 1st down and 20, they'll stick with the 5 receiver formation. Whistle stops. Mississippi State's a team that had, what was that number, 16 penalties?
Second down.
Thank you, Harold. They had 16 penalties against BYU earlier in the year in a game in which they dismantled the Cougars. But
you know, you're right. Dismantled was the word. They whacked BYU and got away with 16 penalties. It's those tight games that you can't afford to have so many penalties.
7 today on 2nd and 20. Madkin has some pressure coming from the middle. Rolls out. Incomplete. On the coverage, Milo Lewis. Larry Huntington, the intended receiver. Well, in Knoxville, Arkansas and Tennessee are going at it. And in the first quarter, Tennessee already up 14-0. Guess what? Fake field goal. Seth Reagan, the holder, takes it in for the touchdown. That made the score 21-0. And Arkansas finally on the board in the second. It's 35-7.
That's a really depleted Arkansas team, Dave. A lot of injuries. They even have a backup quarterback now who they got off the intramural fields last week. So you know they're really hurting.
3rd down. He goes to Griffith. Griffith gets it back. Still not even to the original line of scrimmage. So a series of possession for Mississippi State that well, wasn't one they'll look back on fondly.
No, this won't go into the highlight reel, you know, at the end of the year. 2 mistakes by Mississippi State, yes, but Alabama took advantage of that and held them. Jarrett Johnson, number 96, that played before, flushing Wayne Madkin. He plays with his motor on high. Good job of them stuffing the screen pass. And here comes again this formation. Alabama going for a block, Dave, and then they run up the punt returner to cover the gunner.
Antonio Carter was back to receive the punt. He comes up to get a gunner, one of the outside men for Mississippi State. The ball rolls down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line, a 41-yard punt. Bulldogs lead it 14-0. Well, if I didn't know the words to Who Let the Dogs Out, I do now.
Whether you wanted to or not, you're going to learn them today.
Yeah. And it goes something like, Who Let the Dogs Out, I think.
Woof, 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 woof.
Thank you, Charles. 1st and 10 for Alabama, 5:51 to go in the second quarter. The tie in a hole. Miscommunication between Zhao and Millens, and that ball was nearly picked off. Pick Prather was right there.
He thinks Freddie Millens going to run a hitch route, and Andrew Zhao throws the 3-yard hitch route. Freddie Millens just took a straight upfield, thinking it's going to be a fade route. Should have been an interception.
Let's go back to the punt, Charles, for a moment. This has happened twice. What's going on here?
Well, what's happening is Alabama's gambling now. They're trying to block the punt. They have to send, Antonio Carter up from the deep position to cover the gunner outside from Mississippi State, because if they don't, Mississippi State sees it coming, they can throw a pass to a wide open guy.
Pass nearly picked off Kendall Roberson on the coverage. It was intended for Antonio Carter. It kind of hung up in the air, and it's a good thing Roberson was going for the pick. Otherwise, you could have decapitated Carter.
Yeah, he had him set up perfectly for that, but he did the right thing, Dave. He played the ball going through the receiver, and because he did that, he was still able to break up the pass. He was actually going after the interception, as you indicated, but he went through the top of the receiver, so the receiver wasn't going to catch it regardless.
Tough spot for Bama, 3rd and 10. You're backed up inside your own 10. They're 1 of 5 in third down conversions today.
I would guess that they would come after him again.
They send one blitzer. Pass is caught at the 19. It's Derek Woods, and that should be good enough for the first down, a gain of 12.
Tackle by Robertson, Clinton, Connor Stevens.
Nice job by Andrew Zhao, standing tall in the pocket, stepping forward and delivering a strike to Woods. They needed that first down desperately, Dave. Otherwise, his field position again on the punt.
Derek Woods, you look at Jackie Sherrill. Derek Woods, one of those true freshmen who's getting some playing time this year. 1st and 10. Myrie dodges one defender. Gets one on the play, maybe 2. Rob Knight on the tackle.
Rob Knight, who jumped in to replace Ellis Wims today, moving to the 3rd linebacker. Josh Morgan, number 47, the free safety, he forced the play initially. Made Ryrie cut that. Rob Knight helped him put him away. He's happy. And just think, Dave, Rob Knight came out of New Jersey as a running back, only behind Ron Dane in rankings.
That's pretty impressive. Lost it up over the middle. Alabama coaches want a flag because they thought there was a hold at the 30, and they got it. McCadley was the intended receiver. Pick Prather on the coverage, and I saw it happening too. Right about the 28-yard line, Prather started grabbing McCadley, and it's a good thing he did.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that you'll take it. Because if he doesn't grab him, McCadley might still be running with the ball towards the end zone. Right side of your screen, Zhao throwing it up in the air, lofting up. There is number 29, Prather. Yeah, he's got a pretty good hold of McCadley. Now I'm a former defensive back, so normally I don't want to point that out, but Pig, you know, you can't undress it.
No one ever took you deep in man coverage, did they?
Well, they took me deep, they took me short, they took me medium. You know, my coaches tried to protect me in man coverage by keeping me out of it.
Oh, mercy. There's Joe Lee Dunn next to Jackie Sherrill. Here's Carter breaking some tackles. He's across the 45. Turned that into a pretty big game, did Antonio Carter. Antonio has been solid this year, a gain of 17. Last year, he had 29 receptions for 280 yards. This year, he's got close to 40 receptions, and he's closing in on 500 yards.
Yeah, and he's really stepped up in the last 5 games, over 30 balls caught in those 5 games. And Antonio Carter's become the go-to guy for Alabama. In that play that he just ran, Dave, that's a play we would have seen Freddie Millins running last year. You know, that's the kind of play you get into Freddie Millins on the inside screen and let him make moves. Now it's going to Antonio Carter.
If he makes them like that, keep going to him. Zhao in some trouble. That was defended quite well by Mississippi State. Zhao reared back and just hummed that right into the Mississippi State bench. That was a frozen rope.
And you know why he did that? Because that was the companion play to the last play run. You know, they ran that inside screen to the wide receiver, Dave. This last play, what they did was they faked another one of those screens and hoped to get a receiver deep. But Mississippi State had it covered so well, he just rifled it out of bounds because he had nowhere else to go with it.
2nd and 10, 5 wide receivers. Zhao throws it. Nearly picked off. He was focused in on Antonio Carter. Fred Smoot thought he had an interception. He has 4 already this year. And a flag down, maybe a late hit on Andrew Zhao, who gets up hobbling.
Personal
That happens from time to time when you blitz people. You see Andrew Zhao rolling out to his right. Big hit by Eugene Clinton. And the referee, Harold Mitchell, right on the play. Ball was already gone. You know, they kind of have that one-step, two-step rule, Dave, after the ball's gone.
Yeah.
Eugene Clinton hit him after that.
Andrew Zhao not 100% back in that huddle. Behind Andrew Zhao is Jonathan Ritchie,
former walk-on. And so they really like to have Zhao go the distance.
Brandon Myrie slipped as he got the handoff, still managed to pick up a couple of yards. This crowd is not happy with the call, maybe the couple of the calls, but you know, from what we've seen, they're legitimate calls.
They are legitimate calls. You have to remember this rivalry. Would you say, Dave, 85 years?
85th
meeting. It's the longest running consecutive meeting between schools in the college. These guys get it together all the time. Mississippi State people have not had much success against Alabama. They like to see them win.
That was Jonathan Ritchie with the headsets on, backup quarterback, and here's the reverse to Jason McCadley. McCadley inside the 30. Another flag down. McCadley will score, but will they bring it back?
I would say yes. They're going to bring it back.
And it looks as though Fred Smoot might be down at the 8-yard line. He gets up. Boy, there's Fred. So they'll bring it back. Fred Smoot looks to be okay. Mike DuBose wondering, can we ever catch a break?
The answer is right now probably not. Confidence level is low. You know, things have really have gone awry. Every time they run something big, you know, this is what happens. Arvin Richard, number 26, and Jason McCadley there. There's the hold out front. 65 on that, 75, Griff Redmill, the offensive guard who got an offsides penalty early. He got on number 90, Connor Stevens, the linebacker, held him as too bad. A great play, erased by penalty.
Second down and 16. That pass batted down. Hey, we got to play without a flag. And Andrew Zhao has been touched up a couple of times as he's gone back to pass the last couple of plays. See a little green grass on the jersey of Andrew Zhao.
Nice coverage in the secondary by Pick Prather. Dorset Davis put the pressure on up front, number 99 from Mississippi State, but number 29, Pick Prather. Excellent man-to-man coverage.
There's Pig. He and Eugene Clinton and Fred Smoot. Just combined to be some great defensive backs. Zhao throws a bullet. It's caught at the 28-yard line, a gain of 15. It's Antonio Carter, but I think they're going to be about a yard, maybe a half a yard shy. You got to go for it.
Yeah, there's no question about going for it. But this is a big-time throw here by Andrew Zhao, Dave. We've seen him short on a lot of passes earlier this year. Not this time. He let that one out, and that was the only way that pass would have been completed.
Fourth and 1. Myrie spins. It's going to be close. I don't think he got it.
I don't think he got it either. When you have to spin on a short yardage play like that, Dave, that's usually an indication that you're not getting the first down. Because normally you just busted up in the gut there and wedged yourself a hole, and there wasn't one. And that defense, you know, you talk about 8 in the box. There were 11 in the box on that play, Dave. They were not playing pass at all.
Willie Blake, Sean Birdsong, meet Myrie. Mike DuBose talking about Brandon Myrie. You can't spin, Charles, as you said, on a short yardage, babe. Get it in there.
Everyone from Mississippi State's up front. Pick Prather, number 29. He gets into the backfield and disrupts the play. Makes Myrie have to spin. Doesn't give him a chance to go straight ahead. And there's the end result.
Yeah, give Prather a lot of credit. Myrie really was forced to spin.
Yeah, it wasn't Myrie just going in and trying to dance and spin. He was trying to shake free from the tackle by Pick Prather. And the Dogs were let out on that series, Dave. And they get let out every time Joe Lee Dunn sends his defense out there.
So 1st and 10 for Mississippi State. We've got 2:17 to go before halftime. At least Alabama ate up some clock and kept their defense off the field for a while. Here's Dante Walker. Picks up 10 on the play to the 40-yard line. Let's check in with Warren Pepper. Warren?
Hey, coming up at halftime, we're going to flash back a little bit to 1995, a Kentucky game against South Carolina. You remember this? A record-breaking day for a particular Wildcat. I won't give it away to you, but do you remember who it was? I'm not going to tell you any more. All right, coming up at halftime, some scores and highlights around the country as well.
I know.
We all know. You don't want us to say?
We won't say.
I hope Warren knows at halftime. He better know at this point. Walker gets by. If he doesn't know, he better go look it up in a hurry.
Well, he did give a clue, though. He did give a clue.
Salim Rashid makes his first tackle of the day. Salim Rashid is a guy, Charles, that was a freshman All-American, led the team in tackles a year ago, first freshman to lead Alabama in tackles. And this year his tackles are down. He has 65 total tackles. His stats are a little bit down this year, but his coaches say that he has still played an exceptional season.
Yeah, he's been a very solid player for him. He's the guy that's been hurt by the loss of Kendall Moorhead and all the injuries to the defensive line. Those are the guys that keep Bockers off of him and allow him to go make plays.
Look at Dante Walker. 5'10", 225 out of Clinton, Mississippi. The sophomore averaging right around 5 yards a carry. He has 53 yards on 11 carries today, as Mississippi State will take a timeout. But what a combination when you can go with a quick, faster back and DeCenzo Miller, who can also catch the ball out of the backfield extremely well, and then follow it up with Dante Walker, your big bruiser.
Not bad. And you know, Dante Walker is faster than DeCenzo Miller in the straight-ahead 40. But as you said, a quick, shifty back. That's what Miller gives you. He gives you that quickness and the shiftiness and makes more guys miss. But if Dante Walker gets to open field, he can get it up. He can jet it up a few notches and take it the distance, take it to the house. But is this not your, Dave? This is not your normal 2-minute drill. You know, we're watching Mississippi State. They got the ball with 2:17 to go in the half, and they've run the ball downfield with a minute to go. They've used a timeout. They'll have one left, and as you know in college football, first downs stop the clock. So that equals almost not a timeout, but allows you to get set and run extra plays, whereas you wouldn't be able to do that in the pro game. So they have plenty of time left, and you know Jackie Sherrill wants one more touchdown going into the half.
I tell you, Alabama can hold them here and go to the locker room only down a couple of touchdowns. You know, they're a big play away from right back in it.
The psychological difference will be immense if they can hold them here and hold it at 14. They'll feel good about themselves going in. Hey, we withstood a real assault from them in the first half. But if they score here, I think Alabama will sag a little going into the locker room.
1st and 10, 60 seconds to go before halftime. And Mississippi State will line up in a hurry. They won't use a timeout, it doesn't appear. Henrik Fairchild having a tough time getting up. Clock continues to tick at 40.
Alabama taking their time getting set on defense. That's what you hear the crowd being upset about. They want as much time to tick off as possible.
And have to scramble out, unload it. Had his man wide open, but did he make the catch? Larry Huntington down to the 30-yard line. That'll be a first down and stop the clock, but our field judge comes running in and says no catch. It looked like it hit the ground.
That's good officiating, being able to get together if one guy had a better view than the other. We'll see it here. Great view. Larry Huntington going, and it did hit the ground. Excellent camera work. What a great shot by our JP crew. And Larry Huntington tried to make it, but he didn't get his hands totally underneath the ball. He catches it kind of the top part of the ball. It hits the ground. Good call by the officials, but it really doesn't hurt Mississippi State that much because the clock got stopped.
Bobby Bernard, the field judge, back there making that call.
He's got good eyes, doesn't he? Nice pickup on that play by the officials.
21 ticks left. Mankin Gets his man Grendel. Gets him out of bounds. They'll stop the clock at the 14. The ball will be at the 35, 34-yard line. Scott Westerfield, long field goal this year is 43. His career long is 51. Westerfield missed a couple of field goals last week, 30 and 39 yards up in Lexington, Kentucky, but who can blame him?
Yeah, that the field he planted one time on the field. It was a little slick that day, and his leg just slid out from under him. On the other one, Coach Sherrill told us he was flushed early and didn't finish his swing of his leg and kind of short-legged it, so to speak, and didn't get a proper stroke.
Crocodile legged.
I don't know if anyone's ever used that term before. You just coined a new one.
Wayne Mackin on the quarterback sneak. Gets the first down. Mississippi State will use the timeout with 11 seconds left. That's their last timeout.
Mackin just going to get the first down to get the clock stopped, but then they had to call the timeout because of the amount of time, 11 seconds. Now they're trying to decide what to do in terms of what play do you call and then get your field goal unit in the game if you don't break it for a touchdown.
Next week, the Wildcats and Jared Lorenzen, the SEC's leader in terms of freshman yards. He's record in that department. Will lead the Wildcats against Tennessee, that's dismantling Arkansas as we speak up in Knoxville. That's Kentucky and Tennessee next week, 12:30 Eastern on Jefferson Pilot Sports SEC Game of the Week. And the score up in Knoxville is now 35-14. It was 35-zip.
A lot of credit to Houston Nutt and his staff holding together a team that's really been decimated by injuries, down 35-0 in Knoxville. They've come back with 2 touchdowns. He's the type of coach that won't let his team quit. Very mentally tough.
Vanderbilt over Kentucky. Two teams looking for a win in the Southeastern Conference.
And both had high hopes coming into this season, Dave. Vanderbilt really talked hard about going to a bowl game. And those hopes are obviously dashed. And Kentucky, coming off their second straight bowl appearance, was looking for a third.
4 receivers, 5 DBs with 10 seconds to play. Pass incomplete.
I have to kick it now, Dave, I would imagine.
8 seconds. Maybe give it one more shot. Give it one more shot.
You think so? You gonna be the gambler here?
No, they're gonna kick it. I don't know why they didn't go to the end zone for one of those.
Yeah, you know, part of the reason is you don't want to take the sack, and he's out of timeouts. So he wanted to make sure he got a 3-step drop so he could get rid of the ball if he had any type of trouble. Because if you go for a longer route, it takes time. And if you do take the sack, the clock runs out before the half's over, and he trusts Westerfield's leg.
Timeout, Alabama. It'll be a 51-yard attempt by Westerfield. His career long, as mentioned before, is 51. His long this year, 43. Jackie Sherrill has mentioned to us that he is not interested in the Alabama job. He is quite content with what he has accomplished here and what the future looks like here at Mississippi State. They have stadium expansion going on. They're a team to be contending for a national title, in his opinion. He said, we just need a few more players, and we're there. They're already in the top 15 in terms of the BCS. They compete for the SEC championship, and he's happy with what he has here, and I think he's very happy with the relationship that he has with his athletic director, Larry Templeton.
And it's a great relationship. Larry Templeton was the guy who went out and got Jackie Sherrill 10 years ago and brought him here. A lot of people were saying, you know, are you sure you want to do that, Larry? And he said he's the best coach for us in this situation. He'll do great here, and I'll give him the support he needs, and he's done that. And Larry Templeton, a lot of credit goes to him for putting the support in place for Mississippi State football to get better.
Well, Alabama obviously not ready to go to the locker room, calling a timeout. Well, fans, log on to jpsports.com and check out our new fan shop. We have a great selection of merchandise from every school. The best news is you pay no shipping charges for your order. Also, all customers receive a free gift with their first order of $25 or more. Get a head start on your Christmas shopping and visit our fan shop today. And Charles, while we're on this subject of the coach, you know, Mal Moore is here today, and you know, there's no hurry for him to select a head coach. And I think there are a couple of names out there, and I don't really want to get in there and say who's a candidate and who's not. But a couple of coaches who have been mentioned that'll be playing deep into the postseason in terms of a New Year's Day bowl. And I don't think that there will be any kind of announcement for Alabama until sometime after the first of the year. It may be sometime in mid to late January, I think, before we actually find something out.
I think you're probably right about that, Dave. And what's difficult is that takes you into the heart of recruiting season, you know? And if you don't have your head coach in place, Alabama going to use all of them trying to ice Westerfield. But if you don't have a head coach in place as the recruiting battles heat up, that's when it becomes difficult. So what may happen is they may choose their guy, and unless he's playing for the national championship, they may have to make that hard decision about leaving their team. But there's plenty of precedent for that happening.
I think if there's a head coach that they're going to go after, which I believe, in my opinion, they will.
That's what Mal Moore said in his criteria.
Absolutely. That you got to, I think the coach who they want will be playing
deep into the Bangladesh championship.
Yeah. Warren, what do you have?
Hey, remember the conversation we had about how successful Alabama's been at blocking kicks in the last 3 to 4 weeks? Do you think they're going to come after this? It's going to be a low trajectory.
That's a good point, Warren, because of the distance of the kick, it has to be a low trajectory coming out. They're trying to ice him, and then, of course, they have nothing to lose. You might as well go after him. I really doubt Mississippi State fakes it in this situation.
Kenny Smith, the guy to keep an eye on. 88 has been able to bust up right through the middle and get a big paw on it.
Jack Bailey from the wing.
From 51. No good. Short. Wide to the right.
It is a cool day here, Dave. 3 timeouts may have sufficiently iced Scott Westerfield.
Well, it's 3 timeouts.
Might as well use them. They're on the board, right?
You can't take them with you.
Can't carry them over. Can we roll them over to the second half, please?
Well, that's a good break for Alabama. If you're an Alabama fan, you got to think you still got a shot here.
Yeah, if you're Mike DuBose, you're thinking, hey, this is a way of exhibiting what we can do. You know, that we're going to stay in there and have pride in our program and get things done. Now, do you just fling one up deep, Dave? Give it a shot with 2 seconds? Doesn't look like it. Looks like they're going tight formation, take a knee to the locker room.
Well, Alabama will get the football to begin the second half. And they will head to the locker room. So Mississippi State perhaps shot themselves in the proverbial foot with a bunch of penalties. 9 or 10, I believe, today in the first half. 9 penalties, 85 yards. And Alabama had a crucial penalty that called back a touchdown on a reverse. Let's check in right now with Warren Pepper.
Coach, you're up 14. Disappointed you didn't get any more there in that second quarter.
Yes, we did. You know, we tried to, maybe kind of finesse a couple of plays in there, and they didn't work for us. We went backwards on both of them. One of them we had an illegal receiver downfield, and the other one we had, 2 forward passes. But, you can't take them back. You've already done it.
Well, you're up 14. Good luck second half. Jackie Sherrill headed to the locker room. He needs 1 win to become the all-time leader in coaching victories here at Mississippi State. We've got a 14-0 halftime advantage for the Bulldogs. We'll be back live from Scotts Field right after this. Stick around.
Mississippi State leads Alabama 14-0. Bulldogs 6-2 on the season. 3-2 in SEC play. Still in the hunt for an SEC Western Division crown, but they need to win out. And a couple other things happen, which we will, as the game unfolds, try to explain to you. But right now, let's check in with Warren, who has Coach Mike DuBose.
Tell me when. Ready? Coach Mike DuBose, you're down 14. What do you tell them?
Well, we're getting whipped at the line of scrimmage. We've got to establish something offensive. We've got to come off, create a new line of scrimmage offense. We've got to get off blocks defensively and got to go make some plays when plays are there.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Mike DuBose headed back here for the third quarter to begin. They get the ball back. Let's see if they can narrow the gap.
Thank you, Warren. They will get the ball back and try to assert themselves at the line of scrimmage.
Pretty simple formula from Coach DuBose, being able to do that. Wanting to do it, being able to do it are 2 different things, and they are so beat up along the defensive line, very difficult for them to hold their position at point of attack with that huge offensive line from Mississippi State.
John Michael Marlin to kick off. Remember last year it was Alabama that stopped Mississippi State's 8-0 start. They won in Tuscaloosa 19-7. Don't think Bulldog fans forgotten that.
Or all those years prior to that when Mississippi State couldn't beat Alabama.
Jason McCandless spinning and turning and twisting and getting it out to the 26-yard line. A return of 16, and that's where Alabama will take over. As mentioned, Alabama had a tough time running the football in the first half. Myreed, 10 carries, 20 yards. Galloway, 4 carries, 5 yards. But Andrew Zhao, 6 of 13, 111 yards. And got it started with a 51-yarder to McCadley early in the game, and that drive stalled. Flag down. Galloway tackled Josh Morgan. May have grabbed a face mask.
Flag on flag.
Believe you are going to be proven correct on that one, Dave.
See what Harold has to say.
When it rains, it pours. I mean, talk about a cliche, but Alabama.
Where's
The hold would be on number 15, Freddie Millens, on the inside. And that's where they got the hold. And then outside, the face mask was on Josh Morgan making the tackle. So for Alabama, when something good happens for them, they offset it with the penalty themselves. They just can't get totally in gear and get good things happening just for them.
All right, we'll do it again. 1st and 10. Pump fake, Zhao throws back to the other side of the field looking for Freddie Millens. Freddie wants a flag and won't get it. Coverage on the play was Eugene Clinton.
Eugene Clinton defending.
Another situation where the ball, all the action went one way, they threw back the other. Normal banging between receiver and defensive back. I don't think a flag was warranted on that play.
Freddie has been a disappointment this year. Of course, knee injury middle of the season, but look what he did in 1999. School record, 65 receptions for 733 yards in 9 games this year, 30 receptions. Today, 1 touch, -2 yards. Big hole for Galloway. He takes it to the 40, and that'll be a first down for the Crimson Tide. And there's the offensive line from Alabama making some noise as Galloway picks up 14.
And you have to know that Neil Callaway, the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach, challenged his guys at halftime and said, hey, we're supposed to be a good offensive line. Let's prove it. And see how Galloway got a crease between the guard and tackle gap, Dave, and then cut it upfield and took it downfield instead of continuing to string it wide. Nice play for Alabama.
Fresh set it down for the Tide. Zhao, great play action, has all day to throw it, lays it up in the air, pass nearly picked off, good coverage in the secondary by Fred Smoot, intended for Herschel Bolden. And while we're on the subject of Fred Smoot, great line yesterday when Joe Lee Dunn told us he will look at the opposing bench and say, throw it my way and help make me a millionaire.
And here's another reason. This ball took too long to get there, Dave. I'm not saying it was a bad pass because it wasn't, but you have to get the ball out there quicker, because if you don't, Fred Smoot has closing speed, and he closes on the ball, breaks up the pattern. Maybe a skinny post instead of a deep post works better.
2nd and 10. Galloway gets the corner, gets 4 or 5 yards, so actually steps out of bounds, so they'll only give him a couple on the play. We talked to Jackie Sherrill about Fred Smoot yesterday quite a bit, and you know, I said Fred Smoot's a guy that just loves to chat 24 hours a day, nonstop, doesn't care who it is. And I said to Coach Sherrill, have you ever had a player like him in terms of that? And he said, absolutely not. Not even close.
He didn't even hesitate. You weren't halfway out with the question. He said, oh no, not at all.
Zhao will be sacked. Josh Morgan comes up from his safety spot. And Alabama will have to punt it away. His second sack of the season for Josh Morgan.
And what they do with Josh Morgan, number 47, the free safety, is they try and keep him out of man-to-man coverage. Thus, they blitz him a lot. Top of your screen, Josh Morgan gets off, gets him right there. Has a chance to get Andrews out, and he takes full advantage of it. Just comes from the top of the screen, puts a spin move on, not to be denied on that sack with Josh Morgan.
Punt is blocked. Loose football at the 10. Down to the 5. Who has it? Waiting for the official word. Harold Mitchell making his way. It'll be a safety. Alabama came up with it. Justin McClintock at the bottom of the pile. Anthony Bryant got the block for Mississippi State. And I believe it was Sean Birdsong, number 6, that was down there trying to pick it up. But nonetheless, Mississippi State will come away with the safety. Alabama will have to re-kick it back to the Bulldogs.
Look at the angle. Right here is where the block takes place because he comes across. Beautiful job by Anthony Bryant coming across it. Number 7 on the play for Mississippi State. Brian Shoemaker ended up being the guy who helped make the play. Ball keeps coming loose. There's Mooneyham, number 19, trying to make a play. David Mooneyham. It ends up Dustin McClintock with a lot of hustle. Gets back, it's on the ball, and makes it a safety as opposed to a touchdown for Mississippi State. Now Alabama with the free kick. Great field position coming up again for Mississippi State.
Alabama will have to kick it away from the 20.
Looks like they'll use their punter, Lane Bearden, instead of teeing it up. Most teams use the punter in this situation. They want more hang time to try and get guys downfield to cover. Kickoff doesn't carry the same hang time as a punt.
Bearden's kick. It's a spiral, and it's a long kick. Inside the 20. Goes Huntington. Huntington spins out of a tackle. Huntington across midfield, gets tripped up by the punter Lane Bearden. A return of 33. Huntington has got just explosive speed.
Yeah, when you look at his catch total, that's something we talked about in a break. You wonder why he doesn't get more balls. I mean, this guy here, the punt was a good punt by Bearden. There's a missed tackle in there by Brooks Daniels, number 18 from Alabama. And Lane Bearden, the punter, has to make the tackle. But you wanted hang time on that one, Dave. He hit it well. It was a great ball to return because it came right to Huntington.
Wayne Madkin at quarterback in Mississippi State's first possession of the second half. And it's good field position. Little pitch to Cinzo Miller. DeCinzo Miller. DeCinzo Miller inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line. And just like that, the Bulldogs are inside the Bama red zone.
Toss sweep by Miller, but it's a cutback play. Watch how he brings it, and then he's going to cut it back inside, the first sign of a hole, and he actually bends it back to the opposite side on the line. Untouched for the first 30 yards downfield, Dave, before he's tackled deep into the secondary.
DeCinzo with 70 total yards. DeCinzo with 6 carries and those 50 yards.
And this is where the game gets fun for the big fellas up front, Dave. Those big guys, Michael Fair in the middle, Courtney Lee and Tommy Watson at the guards, Derek Thompson, Kendrick Fairchild at the tackles. There's a lot of fun for them now. Just fire out and hit someone.
Second down, 9. The I formation. Miller stopped as he approached the 10. Good pursuit by the Alabama front and linebackers corps, headed up by Salim Rashid. Salim Rashid. Great speed, great vision, football savvy, has all the tools in the world to be one of the best to play at Alabama. And I think there are many people around there that know that there have been some great ones, but they know Salim could be up there.
He has the tools to fit into that category.
Cinzo Miller takes a little swing pass and gets tripped up. Nice play by Marcus Spencer, who now has 8 tackles out of his safety spot. Spencer 5th all-time in total tackles at Alabama, moving up the charts.
Coming off a game at LSU where he had 16 tackles last weekend. So he's a guy who's very active, a guy who was a former walk-on, earned a scholarship here at Alabama, has had quite a career in the secondary.
Senior out of York, Alabama. Westerfield on to attempt 31-yarder. Cinzo Miller holds. Don't see that very often. That kick is up and good. So after missing from 51 to end the first half, Westerfield comes back and opens up the second with a 31-yarder, and Mississippi State's lead is now 17. Back to Starkville in a moment. Mississippi State by 19, not by the 17 that I said going to break. I forgot about the safety. How could you forget the safety? Dave?
It's okay, Dave.
I think, come on, Dave. Pick it up.
It's my job to make sure you have the score, and I failed you, but I won't do it again.
Oh, mercy. We'll get it together. 19-0 Mississippi State. McCadney on the kickoff return across the 20 out to the 23.5-yard line. And let's check in with Warren, who has an injury update. Warren?
Yeah, just to let you know, Kendall Roberson's done for the day. The quarterback for the defense there for Mississippi State injured his other knee. And by that I mean he lost a year already because of a knee surgery to the opposite knee. Took a helmet to that one. They tried to wrap it at halftime. Just not good enough to go, so he is done for the afternoon.
Yeah, Kendall with that 6th year of eligibility, and a tough year for him last year, having to sit out, especially as the team was rattling off 8 straight wins. Went on to win 10 games a year ago in a super season for Jackie Sherrill. And they have a chance to have another great one here. Here's the handoff, nowhere. Maybe a yard for Ahmad Galloway. Willie Blade met him right in the hole. Willie, 320-pounder out of Warner Robins, Georgia. Look at big Willie, 54.
Watch where Mississippi State's defense ends up as it pertains to the line of scrimmage, Dave. You know, Mike DeBoe said they have to start winning more battles at the line of scrimmage, meaning Alabama. Mississippi State has moved the line of scrimmage from where the ball is snapped to about a yard behind it, but after the initial contact. They're moving Alabama back. That's the problem with Alabama's running game.
You said rushing would be the story in this one, and so far it's panned out. Jaldo to throw on 2nd down. Bat in the air! Who's got it? They'll rule it a catch. Triandis Luke makes the grab. Rob Knight got it. It looked like Rob Knight. 20 got a paw on that. I'm not positive. But here's Luke, and he keeps an eye on the football.
Smoot broke on it, trying to get there. Prather from the inside. Triandis Luke going up and taking that one. And that's tough to do, take it from number 2. A true ball hawk in every sense of the word, but Rob Knight did tip that ball, and it went up in the air.
Millen's in motion. 3rd down. Dorsett Davis knocks it down. Out of Cleveland, Mississippi. That'll bring up 4th down.
2 straight balls batted at the line of scrimmage, Dave. You know, but you got to be able to chop those guys down so you have a chance to throw the ball. End of the play, Andrew Zal. Is Willie Blade, number 54, telling Andrew Zal to get off my teammate, Toby Galladay. A little frustration from Andrew Zal. Hasn't been a banner year, obviously.
Bearden to punt it away to Huntington. He called for the fair catch at the 31 and forgot that he called for the fair catch.
It was so wide open, Dave. He's like, no, forget it. Forget the fair catch. I'll run it. He needed Canadian rules there. There are no fair catches in Canada.
Delay of game. The receiver called for a fair catch and ran with the ball afterwards on the receiving team. 5-yard penalty.
About the only blemish for Huntington today, who's had a pretty good afternoon. Mississippi State leads it by 19. Mike DeBosch trying to keep from getting blanked here today. Need a defensive stand as Mississippi State takes over. 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line. Play action for Mankin. Mankin will run it to the sideline. Let's take a look at our Pizza Hut scoreboard. Some games in progress. 49-14 now. It was 35-0 in the first quarter. Casey Clausen with 5 touchdown passes, and Kentucky up by a point over Vanderbilt. Texas A&M by a touchdown over Oklahoma, and Miami has come back and putting a hurting on Pitt. Northwestern down 10 in the 4th in Big Ten action. Victor Ellis jumped the gun. And Jackie Sherrill wants DeCenzo Miller to keep going, but flags. The official blew the whistle. You see Jackie down there on the sidelines.
Contact by the defense. A 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
He thought he had a free play out of it, but the official blew the whistle when there was the contact made by the defense. And now it's Victor Ellis getting a jump. They were coming with everybody on that play.
Yeah. You know, when the contact's made on the jump, that automatically stops the play. You know, Coach Sherrill, of course, thinking, hey, keep going. Maybe we can get a touchdown. To him, it's a free play, but it really wasn't. As soon as the contact was made, the ball's dead.
Mississippi State now with 10 penalties in this game.
You know, they're getting these penalties. They're still up 19-0. You keep thinking to yourself, if you eliminate the penalties in close games, maybe you don't have closer games. Yeah. I'm sure that's what Coach Sherrill's thinking. Let's eliminate them all and really show what we've got.
Here's Miller. DeCenzo Miller. A little slippery move. Picks up the first down to the 45. A gain of 10 for DeCenzo.
Remember, I was talking about how Alabama's offensive line was losing the battle to Mississippi State's defensive front, and the line of scrimmage was actually moving back in their backfield. Well, it's the opposite effect when Mississippi State has the ball. The line of scrimmage moves downfield. At this point, the running backs are almost running downhill at Alabama the way they've got the field tilted.
DeCenzo Miller, only a couple as he's met by Tony Dixon, and I give Tony Dixon a lot of credit. Bruce Sternum didn't play last week, missed the second half of the UCF game. Questionable whether or not he would go this week. It wasn't until about Wednesday that they made a decision to have him play, and to be out here taking licks with these helmets and pads and guys for Mississippi State is amazing to me. He's got 5 tackles today.
Bruce Sternum, just think about trying to breathe when you're hurt, when you get hit in the chest and you're hurt like that, and play with a Bruce Sternum, as you said, Dave. A lot of courage by Tony Dixon, a few others on the Alabama defense.
Alabama a little nicked up. That time of the year. Here's Griffith, one of his few carries of a game. Gets across midfield, a couple yards shy of the first down. Donnie Lowe tripped him up.
See Alabama's defensive front, but they're getting pushed back by Mississippi State's offensive wall. They just chopped big holes in that front, Dave. And that field is tilting backwards and downhill for Alabama. Number 61's in the game for Alabama, too. Defense Todd Whitmore, we don't even have on the depth chart for the game. So you know that they're hurting on the defensive front.
Third down, pass is complete to Griffith. Griffith pushed out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Gain of 26 for the Bulldogs, 1st and 10.
Well, maybe he wasn't on my depth chart, but he's on yours, Todd Whitmore. Easy pass out into the flat to Justin Griffith. part of the reason that he doesn't get as many carries as he would like. He wants to be a tailback, but when you have DeCenzo Miller and Dante Walker, you want him to play fullback too. And so Justin Griffith has to play both positions, and he's so darn versatile, they like to throw the ball to him also. Look at those total yards.
384 for the Bulldogs. Here's Miller with the pick. Miller slips a tackle, picks up 5. The tackle missed by Marcus Spencer. Couldn't wrap him up. Adam Cox finally pushes him out of bounds as an Alabama player is down.
Second down and 6.
That's Todd Whitmore right there, who we were talking about moments ago. Plays behind Kelvis White out of Ranburne, Alabama.
Look in the interior. Here's Todd Whitmore right there. Gets chopped down low.
Yeah.
Kenrick Fairchild, number 77, with a low block on the leg, bent him over and hurt him. We hope he's not hurt seriously. It's every defensive lineman's nightmare, Dave, to be in that type of position, get chopped down on, not able to use your hands to defend yourself. Hopefully his cleats didn't catch and really bend him over and hurt him too badly.
Second and 6 now for the Bulldogs. Approaching 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Delay handoff to Miller. He's down to the 15. He'll be about 5 yards shy of the first down. Well, the announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited.
Wow, that's pretty good. You did that well. You know, that's good read and good writing.
I'm going to put on there next week that maybe they need to call you, get your approval too.
You know, somehow I don't think they're going to care about my approval, Dave.
You never know. 3rd and 4. Mankin under pressure over the middle, has a man caught inside the 5. A flag down at the 15. It's Donald Lee, the tight end. Legal, man.
Middle screen. Lineman
Ineligible
sometimes
receiver
drift.
downfield on the offense. Was covered on the play. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat the down.
Well, that's not even anyone drifting downfield.
No.
When he says covered, was covered by the play, that means on formation. If you're to a certain side, the receivers can't be on the same plane. You have to be a yard off the line of scrimmage, one or the other, so that you have a legal formation. What it did was it gave them, you know, another guy on the line of scrimmage, and if you're covered, you become ineligible. You know, covered by that receiver. So that's what happened on that play to Mississippi State. And it was such a fine play, too. The middle screen, they'd run it earlier today, but they ran it with the fullback earlier today. This time, middle screen to the tight end.
That's 11 penalties, 95 yards now.
And the numbers just keep piling up in that category.
3rd and 8, 3 wideouts. Mankin steps up in the pocket. He'll run it. Jarrett Johnson, first man on the spot for the Crimson Tide. There are a lot of side altercations going on around the periphery of the plays today. These guys have introduced themselves to each other on a few occasions.
Gotten reacquainted, and really, Dave, that's not a surprise. With the frustrating year that Alabama's had, and as physical as Mississippi State is as a team on both sides of the ball, you're going to have a lot of those confrontations. And it's hard to criticize Wayne Madkin, but sometimes pull that ball down, just dart upfield, get yardage quicker.
Here's Westerfield from 30. He connected on 31, missed from 51. This kick is dead down the middle. So Westerfield continues to move up the charts in all-time scoring at Mississippi State, and that extends the Bulldog lead. It's now 22-0. Back after a word from your local stations. Well, we're counting, folks. For the 17th time today, we've heard who let the dogs out. Charles has got the groove going over there. Marvin Richard on the kick return, and he is met with a force by Jamal Dinkins, a backup fullback, after return of 16. Ice House congratulates Rita Thomas from Nashville, Tennessee for winning with Get the Call. Get the Call is your chance to win great football prizes every Saturday while enjoying the JP Sports Game of the Week. You could be one of over 100 lucky winners every week that get the call during the telecast. See participating retailers for details. Ice House, the official beer of JP Sports Broadcast, reminds you to drink responsibly. So get in the game and score big with Get the Call. You must be 21 or older. Rules and regulations apply. No purchase necessary. And Freddie Millens is gone. Down the right side, look at his speed. Freddie Millens into the 20, finally a run out of bounds. 56 yards on the play. And an injured player back at the 30-yard line. That's Rob Knight. You're looking at his left knee, but how about Freddie Millens breaking out? He's a guy who only averaged about 7 yards per carry, or per catch this year.
And it came out of the stack formation. 3 receivers to one side, all lined up behind each other, trying to find a way to get Freddie Millens the football. They finally do. They run a screen. Andrew Zal, number 5, the quarterback on the backside, as Freddie Millens cut it all the way back across field. Zal got out ahead and helped throw a block downfield. That's why you work so hard to get Freddie Millens the ball, because of what he can do. 1 catch, Dave, 56 yards on the day.
Here comes the crowd. Mississippi State leading by 22. They don't want to give Alabama any chance, but a score here might help them. There's a flag down. Galloway gets a couple of yards, and they'll move it back after the hold.
Again, Alabama, after a big play, puts them in a good spot. A penalty on them.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
Every time something good happens, it gets negated. Think right in here, Josh Morgan, number 47 on the blitz. See the hold right there. Oh, boy. Every time they have a chance to make a play. Doesn't have Dre Fulgham, number 3. Has a good block on Morgan, Dave. You saw that. Had a good block. Couldn't just leave well enough alone. Had to grab his arm as they separated. That was where the call came. And that's too wide open. The official's going to see that every time.
Zal stops over the middle, had a man, but he threw behind his receiver, and Andrew knew it. He's kicking himself. His receiver down there was Michael James, the junior out of Tuscaloosa, and he just threw it behind him.
Yeah, if he throws it and catches him in stride, then he's running across the field. That's why you always hear how crossing patterns are the toughest to defend. Michael James would have been able to catch it in stride and continue on his route. Ball behind him, his feet slid out as he tried to stop and come back and catch the ball.
The 2nd and 23. 4 receivers, shotgun. In motion comes Millens. Little slip screen, batted down at the line of scrimmage. And that play might have worked big.
Oh, it was wide open if he gets it out to him.
It's either Stevens or Galladay. Got a hand up in there, 90 or 94. Regardless, it was a good defensive play, because I think this could have been broken.
On a screen, you have to chop guys down. They tried to chop Toby Galladay, number 94. You saw Dante Ellington, number 65, right there. And then Connor Stevens, number 90, gets his hand on it. You got to chop those guys down, Dave. You got to cut them to get their hands down so you can throw the screen.
3rd and 23. I think the crowd will let you know if they get it. Wide open, McCadley, touchdown, Alabama. 35 yards on 3rd down and 23. That made him sit down in a hurry.
Wow. Reminds you of the play earlier in the game when Madkin rolled out to his left and threw back all the way across field to his right. Kind of a shake pattern to get a guy lost in the wash, and McCadley got lost coming across field, able to extricate himself from Eugene Clinton, wide open. And Zhao was able to loft it. That's how open he was. He lofted it all the way over for the touchdown.
Going after, up and good. That's Andrew Zhao, 6th touchdown pass of the season. The 3rd reception, TD reception for Jason McCadley.
He's going to come all the way back this way is where the ball is going to end up. Wide open, Jason McCadley. Lost in the wash, couldn't quite find him. Eugene Clinton in the end zone. A little late, just a little frustrating thing at the end. But you see how open he was, Dave? He's so open it didn't have to be a perfectly thrown ball. Just throw it back there, just make sure it's not incomplete at that point. And Andrew Zhao, like, finally one went our way.
9 of 21, 204 yards is Andrew Zhao. Mississippi State now leading 22-7. Got $1:56 to go here in the 3rd quarter. McCadley, 3 catches, 92 yards today. 1 for 51, another one for 35. Andrew Zhao just been hanging in there. The drive went 78 yards and took up minute 6.
You know, this kind of year for him has just been so frustrating because we all know he's a much better player than what he's shown. You know, you're a big-time golfer, Dave. You ever have those days where your swing just kind of goes awry, and no matter what you do, you can't get it back for that day? For Andrew Zhao, it's been a lot of Saturdays like that. The stroke just isn't there as it was last year.
Hey, it's never the ending, it's always the arrow, Charles. Down to the 2-yard line. And met at the 20 is Larry Huntington. Let's check in with Warren.
Well, we've got 1:45 remaining here, guys. Have you seen the guy off and on during the course of the game who stands there with the big red hat on and he allows those to come and go after the timeouts? Well, he's a former Alabama player. Yeah.
Well, Lamond Russell.
Lamond Russell. He played like late 80s, early 90s, tight end, split end kind of guy. He's kind of watched with mixed emotions from this side today.
Yeah, and Freddie Millens, who made that big catch, you know, on the last drive, he just moved ahead of Lamond on the career reception list. So Lamond a little bittersweet there, seeing the record go down a notch.
Dante Walker flagged down, could be a face mask. There's another flag down around the 40 toward the end of the play. Well, we kind of expected there would be a number of flags today. Just that one flag. They have another one back at the
5 yards to the end of the run.
Dante Walker breaking it to the outside. Easy to see the face mask by Marcus Spencer, but it wasn't that violent face mask because he didn't fight the face mask call because he didn't hold on to it and haul him down with it. Got it on there, got the hand off, gave him the 5-yard penalty tacked on at the end of the run instead of a 15-yard personal foul.
39-yard line.
I just can't. It's amazing to me how quiet this stadium gets and then how loud it gets. Here's a reverse. Grendel picks up a block from Madkin. This didn't look good. That didn't look good from the get-go. There's 8 jerseys over there, white jerseys over there. Marcus Spencer kind of spread it out over there on the defensive side.
7 yards.
Let's go back a little bit, Dave. Here it is, you know, on the play, DeCenzo Miller handing the ball off to Terrell Grendel. Kenny Smith, number 88, great pursuit. Marcus Spencer, number 41, closing him out. And Jarrett Johnson, number 96, helping finish him off. And now here comes everybody. And everybody's upset because they didn't get a chance to get a piece of that tackle, Dave, get in on the stats. But the best place for Mississippi State today, run right at Alabama. Pound them inside.
Loss of 7. Here they go, Charles, inside. Dante Walker. inside the 35, run out of bounds at the 33, and you called it. Their success has come when they've gone between the tackles in a 35-yard pickup for Dante.
And think about it, Dave. Every time they've gotten cute today, on the reversal, nothing's really worked. Just look inside. Look at his interior. Pounding people. There's Kenrick Fairchild, number 77. They've got the line of scrimmage controlled for their offensive line. They don't need to worry about being real cute right now unless Coach Sherrill just wants to practice some plays and show opponents that they have them, so it makes people prepare for you down the stretch. Sometimes you run those plays just so people have to spend practice time on them and take away from what they really need to spend practice time on.
Dante Walker now over 100 yards, 106 yards. It's the fourth time he has done that this year. And a flag down. Maybe delay of game, yes. Move it back 5 yards. DeCenzo Miller had 75 yards as I look at the stats, 12 carries for 75. Remember, these two guys have 3 100-yard games. Each of them have, in the same game, have 100 yards 3 times this year. That's a school record. And DeCenzo Miller has 5 straight games with 100 yards rushing, so we'll see if they try to keep that streak alive for him. But Dante Walker up over the 100-yard mark and will add a tough 1 yard to that total. Reggie Miles hangs on, brings him down. Nice play by Reggie. Out of Pascagoula, Mississippi.
And Reggie needed to make that tackle, too, because if he doesn't, then DeCenzo Miller actually gains the corner, having bent the play back. It started out inside. They sealed the wall off to the right, bent it back left. If Miller gets to the corner, he's gone.
That is the end of the third quarter. The Bulldog fans in Starkville like what they see so far. Back for the fourth in a moment. Mississippi State leads Alabama. You look at the scoring summary by quarter. Safety for the Mississippi State Bulldogs in that third quarter. That is why they have 8 points. They lead at 22-7 in the total yards. Mississippi State now up to 444 yards. This team, maybe not known for their offense, but they're second in the conference in scoring at 34 points a game. They can move the football in total offense. They're fourth. They average close to 400 yards at 391 a game.
Yeah, a lot of people want to give credit to Mississippi State's defense for always giving the ball to the offense in great field position and scoring themselves, but that's just part of the story. The Mississippi State offense has played well this year.
Wayne Madsen having a pretty solid afternoon of it. Dante Walker on the carry. He's tripped up the line of scrimmage by Kenny Smith.
Top 5, Ellis.
Big Kenny Smith was looking injury down on the field. And who is that? Is that
I gotta see a number.
Is that Dante down there?
8 of 5.
That is Dante Walker, we believe. I don't want to. I've already speculated now. I can't take it back.
You're out there now, and I think you're right, because I was looking for Dante back in the huddle. We got confirmation from our crew that it's Dante Walker who's hurt. We hope he's not hurt bad. Hope it's just a little ding and he gets up and gets out. DeCenzo Miller will now have a chance to work on his 100 yards. What do you need, 25, Dave? He's got
75
right
yards. But let's hope Dante is all right out of Clinton, Mississippi, 225-pounder.
Not putting weight on it, though. That's a bad sign. It's like the left leg. Take a look at the middle of the screen. Here's Walker, number 3, carrying the football. He takes up in the middle, and again, Kenrick Fairchild.
Left ankle.
Kenrick trying to throw a block to help his teammate, rolls up on the left ankle of Dante Walker. That's the second guy Kenrick's gotten, one on the other team and one on his own.
Let's hope Dante's not too badly injured. The training staff there getting worked on. Madsen, quick throw to the near side. Pass is complete. It's a good thing he got that off because pressure came flying up the middle. It was Darius Gilbert, 99, pick up a 5. Here's a look at our Bank of America third quarter stats. 444 to 241 in total yards. Time of possession. Mississippi State with about 6 minutes, 5.5 minutes more than Alabama. First down for the Bulldogs. get hit as he levels it up in the air, and he had a receiver open, but the pressure caused him to overthrow his man. It was Victor Ellis coming in on Matkin. He was looking for Justin Griffith, who was open down there, but good pressure from Ellis.
Victor Ellis has stepped into the middle. Marvin Constant, you alluded to that earlier in the show, Dave, the middle linebacker. And Victor Ellis had quite a year for Alabama. Excellent pressure, comes untouched up the middle, makes Matkin deliver it before he was really ready, unable to set his feet, overthrows Justin Griffith.
Jackie Sherrill.
Nice shades. Looking good in his Oakleys, isn't he?
Jackie's always looking good.
He's always styling. That's one thing. He always checks out our apparel.
Yeah, I got to make sure I go buy a new coat every time I come to Scarlet. Matkin under pressure, dumps it off in the middle. Griffith inside the 15. That'll be close to a first down. A gain of 9. He might be about a yard shy. Let's check in with Warren. Warren?
Just a quick update on Walker. You may be able to see they're going to ice him just to see. It is definitely an ankle sprain. The best part about it was that they keep that protective wrap of tape on the outside of the shoe, so that may have even prevented any further aggravation, but it was to the inside of the left ankle. They're going to put some ice on it, see how that responds for the moment. And there may be a chance he could even go back in, but up 22-7, they're hoping they may not need him.
Yeah, I'm doubting that he goes back in. Warren, just want to let you know that tape on the outside of the shoes, that's not for protection, that's for style. All right, the fellas are spatting their shoes. They love to have the spats on the shoes with the extra tape. You know, they may tell you it's for extra protection. A lot of trainers will tell you sometimes it's the worst thing you can have, because if you do get hurt trying to get to the injury and cut through all the extra tape is not a good situation. Sometimes you aggravate the injury more. But the fellas like the way it looks on their shoes.
Hey, if you look good, you feel good,
if
you play
feel good, yep,
play good.
It corresponds, right?
So they say.
And that's what I would have said when I was playing.
5 of 11 are the Bulldogs on third down opportunities. It's 3rd and 1. I formation. DeCenzo Miller inside the 10, down to the 7, drives his way to the 6, first down. Mississippi State, Marcus Spencer and Tony Dixon team up to bring him down.
And the offensive line of Mississippi State, their coach Jerry Fryman, they're saying, are we having fun yet? Yeah, we're having fun, because this is our type of game. Just line up, mash the people across the line, huge holes for our running backs. This is fun, because pass blocking, Dave, is not fun. You know why? Because you become passive. You have to absorb the blow from the defender instead of firing out and delivering a blow when it's a running play. The offensive line, Mississippi State, they should be having a ball today.
Miller with 82 yards on the ground. Looked like a partially broken play. I guess if it's partially broken, it is broken.
Well, you know what happened on it was that Alabama sent 2 guys up the middle on a blitz, and that disrupted the blocking pattern for Mississippi State. And DeCenzo Miller did a great job just getting what little bit that he got. Alabama's running backs today have made their best runs, Dave, in getting 1 yard or getting back to the line of scrimmage, because Mississippi State spent all their time in the backfield.
Another I formation. This play, 10 plays. This drive, 10 plays, 74 yards so far. Here's the 11th play. Touchdown, Mississippi State. Miller's 2nd rushing touchdown of the afternoon.
Just simple zone blocking. Guys just lining up, just going wide. Miller looking for a hole wherever it exists. Cuts it inside, dives into the end zone for another touchdown. His 3rd of the day, I believe.
And now he gets to hold on the point after. Westerfield, it's up. It's good. And it's now 29-7. Mississippi State uses an 11-play drive kept off by DeCenzo Miller's 2nd rushing touchdown to lead it 29-7. Moments ago, the kick team coming out, the kick coverage team, all excited, all pumped up, but hey, Couple of guys forgot which side of the field we're on.
Notice they do that pre-kickoff ritual on the sidelines now. They start flagging them for doing it on the field, so now off the sidelines they say that's okay. Kind of like the old Icky shuffle.
Kind of ruined it, Coach.
Yeah, which side? Yeah, kind of burst the momentum.
Arvin Richard on the return. Out to the 30-yard line. Charles, let's go back to that touchdown.
Well, look at the offensive line. Just dominance right here. Just dominance. And look at the hole. Miller cuts it inside. Wham. Touchdown. Once again, Davis just established that line of scrimmage wherever Mississippi State wants it to be. Remember the old joke about the 400-pound gorilla, Dave? Where does the 400-pound gorilla sleep? Anywhere he wants to.
I'm glad that was the joke.
Where does DeCenzo Miller run? Anywhere he wants to right now, because the offensive line has established that they've controlled the line of scrimmage. You were a little worried about where I was going.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure.
Just a little trust.
There are half a dozen or so jokes there.
I only know the clean ones, Jay.
First and 10 for the Tide. Little play action from Andrew Zhao. He's got time, lost it up, has a man open at the 40. Complete down to the 33-yard line. It's Antonio Carter who continues to play well for the Tide. A gain of 38. Zhao thought that really should have been 6 had he let him a little bit more.
Yeah, if he leads him a little bit more, it is 6 because then he hits him in stride and he'd keep running. This play looks similar to the first drive of the game, doesn't it, Dave? Where he comes out, rolls out, and finds someone behind Fred Smoot, number 2. But that ball was not Fred Smoot's responsibility. Antonio Carter crossed over behind him. It looked like there were a couple other guys that should have been in coverage on that one.
First and 10. Zhao checking at the line of scrimmage. Here comes some pressure. Zhao sees it, runs a little option to Myrie. Brandon makes something out of nothing. That was kind of an awkward play. Pizza Hut scoreboard. Ooh, la. Tennessee.
No close one this year, says Tennessee. Arkansas has played them close since they've come into the conference.
Kentucky by a field goal over Vanderbilt in the 3rd. Of course, Kentucky and Tennessee. And Charles, look at that, 24-10.
Hey, coming in this game, R.C. Slocum, the coach of Texas A&M, 4-1 versus top 10 teams at home in his 10 years as coach. And it's the first time they've had a #1 team in College Station since 1977 when it was Texas.
Oh, some upsets. Maybe Mississippi State can move up if they can hold on here. Zhao running to the short side, throws it into a crowd, and it's picked off by the Bulldogs. It's Pig Prather, and that's Pig's first interception of the season. Zhao just tried to force it into an area that was surrounded by Bulldogs.
And when we talked with Joe Lee Dunn yesterday, he said, we'll keep pressure on him all day and just hope he throws us a few. He's managed to do that a lot this year, and he did it again this time. Outnumbered 3-1, looking for number 38, Sean Draper, their tight end, who scored his first touchdown in his career against Central Florida a couple of weeks ago. You know, he just threw it. It just was a bad throw. There's no other way to put it. Throw it out of bounds in that situation.
Alabama -9 in the turnover department this year, which is 11th in the Southeastern Conference. Manson now rolls out to run at that ball. Why take the hit, though?
Why take the hit? And actually, he had a receiver on the progression tree deeper and open, Clarence Parker, number 1. He hit the guy short, Donald Lee, on the short part. It was like a three-level pass, and all of them in the same gun sight for you. You know, you kind of click it, click up a little bit higher, and you catch the third guy. But he had Parker, missed him, but still a completed pass. Time continues to run for Mississippi State. They're in great shape, obviously, at this point in the game.
DeCenzo Miller still on his feet. DeCenzo Miller all the way out to the 37-yard line, and guess what that does for DeCenzo? That pushes him up over 100. He has 103, and so for the 4th time this season, Miller and Walker have 100 yards apiece, and that's his school record, 6th consecutive 100-yard afternoon.
You know, last week you talked about Dave Hampton of the Atlanta Falcons, who ran for 1,000 yards on a carry in the last game of the year. Got an extra carry and lost yards and lost his 1,000 yards. Does DeCenzo come out now so he doesn't lose his 100, or does he just try and stay and add to it? I think he adds to it. I don't think he loses it today.
That was nearly picked off into a crowd. Looking for Justin Jenkins. There's DeCenzo, who was just cruising along.
Product of what hard work and effort will do for you in the summertime. Played at about 220 last year, Dave. Dedicated himself in the weight room. Cut out all the foods at night. Down to 200 pounds. Quicker, stronger, breaking more tackles, breaking bigger runs. And we see the result, 6 straight 100-yard games.
Matkin overthrows his receiver. That was Brandon Butler. Matkin today, 17 of 25. Not a bad afternoon. At 253 yards, which is 4 shy of his career high.
Well, you brought that up yesterday in the car when we were just driving in from the airport. I was stunned to hear that. I thought he'd have a few 300-yard games.
Well, guess what he has now, Charles?
He's over 257.
He has a new career high today. I mean, 3 years of him starting at quarterback, and he hasn't thrown for over 257 yards before. That just amazed me. I mean, I really thought he had a couple of 300-yard games in there, but
you just figured that it just had to happen at some point. You know, you have wild games, guys get hot, or you're behind, and you have to throw the ball a lot. But they've been able to run the ball so well. Mississippi State doesn't often happen. And now they've got their punter in the ball game, Prentice Cole. Got the taped-up arm, tongue depressor that Jackie Sherrill talked about, so he doesn't extend it too much on his drop.
Well, he shanked that one out of bounds. I don't think anybody got a piece of it.
Don't think it's his arm. Coach Sherrill's going to be worried about right now. He's going to want to know why he didn't hit the ball better with his leg.
And Jackie will meet him at the 40-yard line. We don't think you should hear this conversation, so we're going to go to break. Back in a moment.
This is a family show.
Back at Scott Field in Starkville, Mississippi. The Bulldogs trying to go to 7-2. Alabama trying to come up with a miracle. They're down 22. Just under 9 minutes to go in the football game. Sam Collins at the 41, run out of bounds at the 44. Fred Smoot and Josh Morgan push him out of bounds. We talked about it. We said before the game, who can run the football, and this one will win the football game. And Dante Walker, DeCenzo Miller, 4 times this year, both over 100 yards. Amazing.
They've run it so well today. I mean, if I'm them, I'm making sure the offensive line gets whatever they want at training table this week.
2nd down and 2 after the pickup of 8. Over the middle. Incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd and 2. Ahmad Galloway was the intended receiver, and those are the kind of plays offensive coordinators love. 2nd down and 2. You now have every option in your playbook open up to you now.
Yeah, you really do. As you see Kevin Fant, the backup quarterback, warming up. It appears that he may go in the game for Wayne Matkin. But on 2nd and 2, a lot of times you think you want to take a shot deeper downfield, Dave, when you have that kind of throwaway down and come back. Because obviously Alabama's in 4-down territory the rest of the day.
Here's Galloway, needs 2 yards. Got across the 45. It's going to be very close to a 1st down. Willie Blade, the first man out there to help bring down Galloway. That'll be 4th and a yard. They're not even going to bring the sticks out. And Alabama, as you said, Charles, in 4-down territory, they're going to have to go for it.
You know, Dave, every time they've gone, short yardage today, they've run a play inside. Alabama has absolutely nothing to lose here, Dave. I would love to see them play action and put something up in the air.
Alabama 4 for 10 on 4th down conversions. 0 for 1 today. Dustin McClintock calls the timeout, didn't like the set. Mike DeBose and company will think about the 4th and 1 opportunity when we come back to Starkville. The Bulldogs lead at 29-7. 4th and 1 for the Tide.
Willie Blade, number 54, Mario Hagan, number 98, stuffed the play. We have a couple of penalty flags down. I'm guessing celebration here. That's what I'm going to guess.
Dead ball. Celebration on Mississippi State. 15-yard
Coach Sherrill wants to know why my guys can't celebrate a big 4th down stop. Joe Lee Dunn's defense again. 11 in the box, Dave, trying to run against. It's tough enough to run against 8 in the box, but to run 11, you know. Look at this. Look at the penetration. Willie Blade, number 54. Rob Knight, number 20. Pick Prather again, number 29. Hagan piling on. Kevin Fant in the game now, but why don't you take the shot, Dave, if you're Alabama? 4th and short, go ahead.
Kevin Fant, you see what he has done this season. 6'2", 204-pound freshman out of Moss Point, Mississippi.
Ho, 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 ho.
We'll get some action today. Fant has completed a pass at BYU. As you look at Madkin's final numbers, that's a career high, 262 yards for Wayne, 18 of 27, solid day for Wayne. Also picked up some big yards with his feet as well. So back to Fant for a minute, was 2 of 4 for 11 yards versus Auburn. Against Middle Tennessee, his biggest day, 5 of 8, 47 yards, but did have interception in that particular game. 2nd and 8. Hand off to Griffith, who's at that tailback spot. But Charles, you know, you had a good description of the two different quarterbacks in Madkin and Fant.
Yeah, I mean, Wayne Madkin, when you ask Jackie Sherrill, you say, you know, tell us about Wayne. He said, well, Wayne's a good quarterback for us. He's a winner for us. This is going to be his, 22nd game he's won as a starter, but he's an athlete, a great athlete playing quarterback. Kevin Fant is a quarterback playing quarterback. And he doesn't mean it as a knock against Wayne Madkin, because you often hear that as a knock against guys. What he means is that Wayne is such a great athlete that he could do some other things. Kevin Fant is a quarterback who probably can't play other positions. You know, it's just one of those different descriptions.
3rd and 5. Play clock at 00, so I'm assuming it'll be, there you go. Fant redshirted last year, but coming out of high school at Moss Point High School, was rated as one of the top 10 quarterbacks/athletes in the country on Max Emfinger's postseason awards. Pretty good speed, about 4.6 in the 40, and a guy they're glad to have here, and could be a guy of the future for them.
Yeah, they're real high on him. They say the good thing about Kevin Fant was this spring he pushed Wayne Madkin to be a better quarterback by his play.
Who's got the football? It'll be Alabama's football as Fant fumbles the snap from center. Donnie Lowe comes up with the football. That's his first fumble recovery of the year. Just a bad exchange.
Yeah, and if you're Kevin Fant as the backup quarterback, it's real difficult, Dave, to go into these ball games because you know, everybody seems they have it well in hand, but you have to go into it and perform well. Otherwise, the coaches look at you funny like, what are you doing all this time in practice? We know we're trying to get you ready to play. We give you a chance, you fumble the ball. But when you're not playing much, you're rusty. So it's a catch-22.
1st and 10 for the Tide inside Mississippi State territory. Matt is out to throw over the middle. Wide open is his man down at the 15-yard line. And guess who? It's Antonio Carter, 25 yards. Antonio Carter is having a career afternoon. 93 yards. He and McCadley are just really a dynamic duo this afternoon. First and 10. Fumble. Zhao comes up with it.
Good play by Alabama. The pass before. Bad play to come back with it. Need to hurry up here. 5:16 to go. get a score.
Second and 13. Zal slips, but stands and throws. Pass incomplete, looking for Freddie Millens.
To kind of sum up Freddie's season thus far, just a lot of frustration for a guy who was a preseason All-American and a guy that we saw. You remember him down the stretch last year, Dave, for Alabama? Remember the SEC title game?
The guy was electrifying.
He was so electrifying. And then the season opener against UCLA, first time he touches the ball, 71-yard punt return. Yeah, and he had a huge day that day against UCLA. But things have not progressed well for him the rest of this year.
And you know Freddie wanted a big day today playing back home in Starkville. Incomplete over the middle, looking for Arvin Richard. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Andrew Zal signaling started the play in the pocket. Connor Stevens, number 90. You know, if things weren't bad enough to still get, you know, I got rid of the ball. Do you really need to hit me anymore?
Right.
I mean, it's been like this all year. You know, Freddie Millens, you said out of Starkville here, Starkville High, that great high school program, one of the few that got away from Mississippi State.
4th down and 13. Zal intercepted. Josh Morgan picking up blockers. He will score. 95 yards, but a flag on the play.
Holding after the interception on Mississippi State, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
Well, last week they had an interception return for over 80 yards. They could have had one today for 95, but they'll bring it back.
And Josh Morgan scored earlier this year against Brigham Young on a fumble return, but I think it was 90-plus yards. The hold actually occurred back on Andrew Zal. A lineman hit him. You see Zal now going right there. He was grabbed by a lineman, Harold Mitchell, all over the call. Excellent call right there. He was grabbed and just pulled down by the lineman, because a quarterback's taught, Dave, when you throw an interception, you need to be the guy to go make the tackle. And Zal was going to try and do that when he was held.
The Fant will try to handle the football from center this time better than he did last time. Justin Griffith. Cornelius Wortham makes the stop.
It's a real tough situation for Jackie Sherrill using Justin Griffith in this situation, Dave, because the game's well in hand and they need him down the stretch. You don't want him to get hurt in a game right now that's wrapped up, but you also need to reward him for his game, for taking his game and giving it up for the good of the team, because he was a great tailback in high school, wants to carry the ball more, but plays a lot more fullback here at Mississippi State.
He finished his high school career with 25 straight 100-yard games to Justin Griffith. Might have lost a yard on the play. David Daniel and Wortham team up to stop Griffith. Let's check in with Warren. Warren?
Well, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the Morgan family here, Luke, because Rob Morgan is the one that signals in the plays, and those who follow Mississippi State football certainly remember his name as a quarterback here, and he certainly was jumping up and down a little bit when little brother was running back with that interception just a moment ago.
Both of them played for their father in high school. Father was a very successful coach, and both of them played for him, and then they both came here. Rob came here on scholarship. Josh came as a walk-on, and now has earned a scholarship.
Griffith around the edge, picks up the first down. We'll give him 5 on the play. Reggie Miles on the stop.
Having watched Josh Morgan play a couple of times this year, Dave, it's hard to picture that no one really wanted him out of high school, isn't it? You know, he was a quarterback safety in high school, and he came here as a walk-on because if he didn't come here, he was probably going to McNeese State on a scholarship. But wanted to play at Mississippi State. The coaches are so glad that he did.
Well, for Alabama, you know, it's one of these seasons you just as soon forget, but you can't because you have a very special occasion going on next week as Auburn returns to Tuscaloosa for the first time in
modern football
100 years.
I mean, it's been a long time.
So, you know, it's one of those special occasions. I think it's special for college football. It's going to be an exciting time, and there's a cloud hanging over this program, but maybe that cloud is beginning to part. I'll be interested to see how this Alabama team responds. Here's Griffith. That'll bring up 3rd down. And, you know, Mike DuBose is an Alabama man through and through, and it means as much to him, even though he's leaving, to beat an Auburn as anybody. And I just hope people that, you know, people I think at Alabama realize how much he cares for that university, and hopefully the people outside of Alabama realize that he wants them to win as badly as anybody.
And if they didn't realize it before, they should realize it now throughout this whole process of what's happened, where he's been removed from his job as the head football coach. Because you talk about someone handling that with class and dignity, you got to give Mike DuBose a lot of credit. I mean, that was obviously very emotional for him. Through and through Alabama guy, losing his dream job.
Well, they're about to make a announcement about Jackie Sherrill now, who will now become Mississippi State's all-time winningest coach, passing Alan McKean. Jackie will pick up his 66th win as Mississippi State's head coach, 66, 46, and 2. And congratulations to Jackie. And the way I understand it is there will probably many more wins for Jackie here at Mississippi State,
as opposed to
70 miles east.
And you know, and how sweet is it for him to beat his alma mater to get that 66th win. Congratulations, Coach Sherrill.
1:53 to go in the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 7. Griffith, a couple of yards shy of the 1st down, I believe, so that'll bring up 4th down. But Griffith's getting his carries. He'll be happy.
Yeah, you know, he'll be happy getting them. He'd rather get them at a time of the game that is not mop-up time, so to speak. But as you said, he's going to take the carries because this is the guy who just would really like to get more of them. Look at that, 532 total yards. Who said they don't play offense in Mississippi State?
Well, it's time to look at the BMW Ultimate Drive of the Game, brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. And this was the last touchdown by Mississippi State. DeCenzo Miller dives in on the 5-yard touchdown run. It went 11 plays, 79 yards, and 4:49 off the clock. That is our BMW Ultimate Drive of the Game. Mississippi State will punt it away with $1:41 to go in the football game.
4th down. Punt formation.
The rush is on and blocked. The ball's blocked inside the 20. Alabama can't pick it up. It's rolling free inside the 5. Who's got it? It'll be Alabama football at the 1-inch line. That was kind of a good break for the Crimson Tide. Nathan Jackson picks it up. They've been trying for the block all afternoon. They finally get it. Let's see who gets their hands on it. Goodness, hard to see who that was coming through the middle. But Milo Lewis trying to pick it up, can't do it. And Mississippi State falls on it at the 1. So a good break for Alabama to come up with the football at the 1-yard line. Florida and South Carolina just now getting underway. A final from Knoxville, 63-20. Vandy storming back to lead Kentucky 24-20. Ooh, and they're down to the waning moments And next week, we'll have Kentucky and Tennessee beginning 12:30 Eastern from Knoxville. Jared Lorenzen and company. That high-flying passing attack. And this Tennessee defense that leads the Southeastern Conference in sacks. And John Henderson, folks, you won't see many better D linemen in the country.
He gets better every week, too, doesn't he, Dave? The game we had with him at South Carolina, you remember that hit he laid in the fourth quarter on the spin? You know, they tell you don't spin too much as a running back. And it's his spin, and he just decimated the guy. Playing at a very high level right now. Let's see if Mississippi State can get another goal line stand in here. And Jackie Sherrill coaches the special team, so you know he won't be happy with that blocked punt.
First and goal from the 2-yard line. They lose a couple. The Bulldogs keep their first unit in. They really don't have a second unit, so they don't have much of an option there.
Yeah, actually, I saw a couple of guys running on the field who would have been second unit guys, and Joe Lee Dunn thumbed them out of the field because they were going to go with, you know, just a couple of guys. Dave, you're right. They don't have a full second unit, but a couple of guys are going to get some playing time. He said, out. Let's try and stop them.
Couple of tight ends in the game. And that didn't work.
I guess I just don't understand in these situations why you keep doing what hasn't worked. I guess that's my biggest question mark. They've got about 11 in the box. They're stunning and gapping everything so that you have trouble penetrating with your offensive line. You got to try something different. And thus far, they've been unsuccessful running what they've been trying to run.
That'll bring up 4th down and goal from the 8. Fred Smoot on the coverage.
That brings to mind a quote that Skip Holtz gave us when we were doing the South Carolina game earlier. We're not going to avoid Fred Smoot, but we're not going to challenge him. You know, we're not going to challenge him if we don't have to. I'm not sure why you throw in his territory on a key play.
There's Fred. He likes to describe his play as similar to Deion Sanders, except he likes to hit.
And he will hit you.
4th and goal from the 8. Swing it out to Galloway. Fighting, clawing, stopped at the 1. With 8 seconds left to play, Eugene Clinton and company come up with a stop when it was 1st and goal from the 2, and the Bama coach's box next to us empty it out.
It's just so unfortunate. You know, you got the ball at the 2-yard line. Mike DeVos trying to get something done, trying to get another touchdown, feel good about themselves going into the Auburn game. They lose yardage. They throw it Smoot, don't get there. Swing pass, Galloway can't get in. Mississippi State looking very dominating as they close this game out.
That'll do it. So the Mississippi State Bulldogs do what they need to do and come away with a win to remain alive in the SEC Western Division race. And Jackie Sherrill does what he needs to do. Wins his 66th game at Mississippi State, becoming the school's all-time leader in wins. And congratulations to Coach Jackie Sherrill. Mike DeVos even congratulates a fellow Crimson Tide. 2 members of the Tide football family. Mississippi State wins it. They go to 7-2. 4-2 in the SEC. Bama to 3-7 and 3-4. We'll be Jackie Sherrill leading his troops to the locker room after posting a win over arch rival Alabama 29-7 behind 274 yards rushing. Back after a word from your local stations. Mississippi State beats Alabama 29-7. Yeah, they're going to go home happy, those Bulldog fans. Don't forget next week, Kentucky and Tennessee from Knoxville, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central, our JP game of the week. It was all about rushing for Mississippi State with 276 yards, but Wayne Madkin with a career day 262 yards passing. So for Charles Davis, Warren Pepper, I'm Dave Neal. So long, everybody. You've been watching Jefferson Pilot Sports, exclusive coverage of Southeastern Conference football.